Welcome, everyone. Today is Thursday, April the 19th. The time is 7:02 p.m. This is the regular City Council meeting, City of Leander, Texas. We're glad that you're all here. It's always great to see when we have this many people when we're doing our 2-hour budget presentation, so we're glad that you're here to hear all of that. And I think we'll save that for another night. If you'll please all rise and join me in our invocation. Councilmember Hill, will you please lead us in prayer?
Father, we come to you tonight asking for guidance in all decisions that we make. Lord, help us to be better people in each season we are in, and help us to at all times reflect the character of your Son. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you'll please join me in the pledges. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Ms. Crabtree, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Andrea Navarrette.
Present.
Councilmember Michelle Stevenson.
Here.
Councilmember Shannon Shepherd.
Here.
Councilmember Ronna Breezes.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jeff Seiler.
Here.
Councilmember Troy Hill.
Here.
Mayor Christopher Fielder.
President, we do have a full council and a quorum. We are eligible to do business. We'll move to item number 6, staff comments. Our first one is from Mr. Womack, our Public Works Department.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd just like to repeat what I mentioned, but more briefly this time. I want to remind everyone that Saturday, April 28th, is our 2018 residential spring cleanup. I believe this is the 13th year that we've been doing this. It's from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. On Municipal Drive, 607 Municipal Drive at our Public Works facility. Real quickly, just ask everyone to bring 2 forms of identification, a driver's license and a water bill. It's open to Leander residents and Leander water customers, meaning that water customers outside the city are also can participate. Again, I won't go through what the list, but you can bring household items to discard, bulk items, tires, fence, brush, things like that, and then any of the household hazardous materials. We ask that everyone hold off until this September the 8th is a Saturday in the fall, where we'll have a household hazardous waste collection event that we'll host and the county and waste management will put on. But I would like to thank in advance the Parks Department and Al Clausen and Hudgens Company and Data Armor. They'll do the paper shredding, but they all help us out, especially the Parks Department. So we appreciate all the help they give us year in and year out. Thank you. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. White. Great. Mr. Tummons? I think we have a rather large event coming up here pretty quick.
Yeah. Mayor, I'm going to introduce Heather Taylor. She's our Park and Recreation Supervisor. Would like her to share what's happening with Mason Days and our 40th anniversary.
Well, we too have April 28th, our Mason Days and Leander's 40th anniversary. The event starts at 9 a.m. and we're going to have old tractors. We have a lace maker. We have a leather worker, woodworker. We've got butter churning. It's just a real traditional pioneer homesteader event. We have a lot of activities for kids. We've got a couple storytellers, period-specific costume that's going to be out there as well. At 11:30 will be our celebration with speaking with yourself and past mayors, past city council, invited current city council, Parks board. So we'll have a celebration with pictures and all of that. We've also got a banjo player, a bluegrass band, 2 bluegrass bands. So it's going to be a fun evening, food, an evening that we'll enjoy for the day.
That's great.
Thank you, guys.
You bet. Mr. Cagle, do we have any additional staff comments?
No, sir.
Okay, we're going to move to item number 7. It's our citizens' comments. This is a time where citizens can address the council on items that are not on the agenda. I do have one individual that signed up to speak, Mr. Thomas Parker. Mr. Parker, if you'd come up and state your name and address for the record, and the light will come on here, and you'll have 3 minutes, please.
Thomas Parker, 100 County Road 290. Mayor, Council,
Mr. Cagle. Thanks for letting me speak. Hope it's okay if I speak about something that's not on the agenda. But okay, 40 years ago, I bought a lot on the corner of 2243 and County Road 290. Fun fact, 2243 was called Sandy Creek Road then, and County Road 290 was called Nameless Road. I'll get back to that. Okay, my subdivision, Hidden Mesa and Honeycomb Hills, now together cover several hundred acres on the south side of 2243, with homes on 5 to 10 acres lots with wells and septic. Recently, I came to city planning wanting to sell off a few of my acres to my brother-in-law, who wants to do what we do in the neighborhood, and that's build a house in the country. Problem is, city planning quickly indicated that that would no longer be practical. New news to me is that something called fire flow requires that we have city water. Never mind that I was annexed 10 years ago and still can't get city water. Also, something about block perimeter length, whatever that is. We don't have blocks. We have horse pastures for yards. And no residences get driveways on Hero Way. Hey, 2 houses across the street from me have driveways. To the left I can see 3, and to the right I can see 3 more. But I can't build driveway number 9. Planning says that's because Hero Way is arterial. You also declared my property to be in a mixed-use corridor. According to your comprehensive plan, that says, quote, mixed-use corridors are areas along roadways not yet built out. Well, actually, we're kind of built out. Also, a variety of residential types, such as small lots, single-family, townhome, duplexes, quadplexes, small professional offices, limited neighborhoods serving commercial uses, and higher density residential. Okay, all of that you've overlaid on our existing deed-restricted, single-family, rural neighborhoods. And fun fact, single-family rural isn't on the zoning list of things that can go in a mixed-use corridor, apparently. So, bottom line, making ordinances that direct how bare land is going to be developed into new roads and new neighborhoods is a great idea. But making ordinances that essentially mandate existing neighborhoods to have to change is wrong, especially when they are deed restricted, can't and don't want to change. By the way, I looked at the city's thoroughfare map, and I see that Hero Way West actually will split off from 2243 at Lakeline, so our bypass 2243 won't even be Hero Way someday, meaning, by my count...
Thank you, Mr. Parker.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Okay. Aaron, then we're going to move to item number 8, recognitions, proclamations, and visitors. Our first proclamation is Child Abuse Prevention Month proclamation. This item is sponsored by Pro Tem Seiler. Pro Tem, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I have the Director of the Williamson County Children's Advocacy Center, Monica Benwal-Beatty, up here as I read this proclamation? It says, whereas in federal fiscal year 2016, the U.S. Census Department reported an estimated population of 139,582 children in Williamson County, Texas, and the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services reported 3,119 completed child abuse investigations in the county, and that 695 confirmed cases of child abuse or neglect. And the Williamson County Children's Advocacy Center forensically interviewed 638 children in the same time period. And whereas our children are the most valuable resources and will shape the future of Texas, and whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone in our community, and whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the meaningful connections and partnerships created between child welfare, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations and businesses and law enforcement agencies, and whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families, and whereas children's advocacy centers were created in the Texas Family Code to work with government agencies in a unified effort to investigate cases of child abuse in a manner that reduces trauma to young victims, and the Williamson County Children's Advocacy Center, a nonprofit organization which was formed in 1997 to serve all cities in Williamson County, exists to provide a child-friendly, safe place to disclose child abuse, reduce emotional trauma for children and their non-offending family members, and extend professional services that protect the integrity of an investigation. And whereas the Williamson County Children's Advocacy Center, Leander Police Department, Child Protective Services, CASA, Emergency Medical Services, the County Attorney's Office, the District Attorney's Office, and the judges and all of their staff, foster parents, teachers, and other work together and play a critical role in the prevention and healing of abused and neglected children in our community to ensure that they have the opportunity to grow up in a safe, loving, permanent homes. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Christopher Fielder, do hereby proclaim April 2018 as National Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month in the city of Leander. Encourage all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for our children and families. By that recognition, and hereby recognize the Williamson County Children's Advocacy Center for its outstanding service to protect the unprotected, seek justice against child maltreatment, and encourage all citizens to be vigilant in recognizing and reporting child abuse. That's long.
Thank you. That is.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Would you like to say a few things?
Just a couple of words. I wanted to share out of that 638 stats that we interviewed 41 children from Leander last year. And out of that, we also, those were forensic exams in suspected child abuse or physical abuse cases. And we performed 7 sexual assault nurse exams, medical examinations. We provided family advocacy to 26 families. And we provided mental health counseling for usually 6 months plus for 16 clients for a total of 237 sessions. And case coordination with third parties, outside parties on 6 different times. We did 20 mandated how to recognize and report child abuse mandated trainings to 409 individuals in Leander. They either live here or they're employed in Leander for a total of 762 touch points on your citizens in the community. So I just wanted to share that. We greatly appreciate our partnership. We love our partnership with you guys. Your task force guys that work with us, detectives, law enforcement, prosecution, and that is incredible. And so we appreciate this proclamation, and thank you for your time.
You bet. Thank you. Come on, we'll go do a picture real quick, guys. As I look out at the sea of yellow vests, we will move to our next proclamation. This is the Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month proclamation, sponsored by Councilmember Navarrette. Councilmember Navarrette, you've got the floor.
It's such a pleasure to have you guys here this evening. As a fellow motorcycle rider, I have a lot of family, too, that rides, and I, too, have lost somebody, from someone else not looking twice. So I just ask, this summer's, everybody's got new shoes on their bike, they're ready to roll. Let's, keep an eye out for everybody on the road.
Let's bring all you guys down. Come on down here in front, if you would.
Front and center.
Front and center, please. Just right here behind the podium.
I can hear the jingle bells.
I hear the bells. Just love having you guys here. Okay, I'm going to read the proclamation now. Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month 2018. Whereas today's society is finding more citizens involved in motorcycling on the roads of our beautiful Texas Hill Country. Whereas motorcyclists are roughly unprotected and therefore more prone to injury or death in a crash than other vehicle drivers. And whereas campaigns have helped inform riders and motorists alike on motorcycle safety issues to reduce motorcycle-related risks, injuries, and most of all, fatalities through a comprehensive approach to motorcycle safety. Whereas it is the responsibility of all that put themselves behind the wheel to become aware of motorcyclists, regarding them with the same respect as other vehicles traveling the highways of this country. And it is the responsibility of riders and motorists alike to obey all traffic laws and safety rules. Now therefore I, Mayor Christopher Fielder, do hereby declare the month of May 2018 Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in the city of Leander, and urge all citizens to be aware of the inherent dangers on the road and to display respect for all drivers. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Leander, Texas, to be affixed on this 19th day of April 2018.
Awesome. We're glad you guys are here. Where do you want it? Michael, direct us. We're going to come down and take a picture with you and
Why don't we?
listen to wherever he tells us. That's what we're going to get.
Could I help for just 1 second?
Sure.
I need to interject. If the council persons could please stand, we'll turn all the bikers here face out.
Yeah,
Drop
I
the
like
safety
that.
awareness banner.
Perfect.
Do that?
And we can do this in the front.
That works. That's fine.
Much better.
Bikers,
Take charge of coming down.
so you can hold the banner in front of the electorate and just can't move. I'm going to get a volunteer. And another. You'll stand here. Down with it. How's that work for everybody?
Perfect.
Perfect.
First time. I swear. Everybody in it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Lucky front row people are into it. 1, 2, 3. Let me get it. Here we go. Feel good? 1, 2, 3. We're good. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Wait.
One more.
Oh.
Thank you, guys.
I think one schedule. Thank you, though.
Sure.
Can we?
You bet.
There.
Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Fielder. I want to say thank you. Thank you for the proclamation, City Council. Thank you, the City of Leander, for recognizing May as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month. I'd like to just take just a couple of minutes and share some things about motorcycle riding that are different from other vehicles. Maybe keep us all a little bit safer. For instance, did you know that motorcycles use their transmissions in braking? What that means is you may not see our brake lights first. So we ask that you give us a little bit more room when following behind us. Also, it's harder to judge a small object like a motorcycle in both distance and speed. Also, please give us plenty of room around us. We need the whole lane because those little potholes and that debris in the road, we actually have to navigate around those whenever possible. Also, construction zones are an area we need to slow down, and not to mention the deer out here at night. So we always have to anticipate that. Also, keep in mind, intersections, 34% of all motorcycle fatalities last year happened near an intersection. Your highest probability of an accident is in an intersection, no matter what you drive. 29% of all motorcycle accidents last year involved a left-hand turn. And we also understand that when we're coming towards you, we're a very small object in your eyes. Looking twice really does save lives. Also, blind spots. All vehicles have them. They're very small now on new vehicles, but guess what? They're still big enough to hide a motorcycle. Also, that cute little stuffed animal in your back window, that's a blind spot. Those cute little trinkets people hang from the rearview mirror, swing back and forth, that's a blind spot, potentially in an intersection. So please minimize your blind spots. Another one, how about your pets? You know, they make harnesses now where you can buckle your pets in. I have two. One of them is 95 pounds. Okay, so him coming forward at a fast rate, it's going to ruin my day and his. Now, I'd like to spend the last 30 minutes talking about cell phone use. Seriously, if you could just do one favor. When you go home tonight, I ask that you talk to your friends, your loved ones, your neighbors, your family. Ask them, especially younger folks that may have a teeny bit of a cell phone addiction, just a little bit. Ask them, what do you do to minimize cell phone distraction while you're driving? There's lots out there. There's the auto text feature that'll let people know that you're driving. You'll call them back. Some people can just put it on silent mode, and that works. Turning it upside down. Some may need to bury it in their console or in their glove box or leave it in your purse. Also, how about this? In your settings, there's a setting in there called airplane mode. You know, the setting that no one has ever used in the history of cell phones? They need to change it to travel mode. It really works. It also mutes the vibration, so you're not distracted at all.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Y'all take care.
All right, we now have our Earth Day 2018 Sculpture Competition Awards presentation. Miss Heather, are you doing that?
I'm introducing Miss Ashley.
That'd be great.
Of course, I'm Heather of Parcel. Thanks for having us, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I'd like to introduce Ashley Williamson. She sits on our Public Arts Commission our Public Arts Commission, and she'll be announcing our Earth Day 2018 sculpture winners.
Good evening. I'm Ashley Williamson. The Earth Day, this is our second annual Earth Day competition. It is sponsored by the Leander Public Arts Commission and Alcoss and Disposal, Inc. And what we've done is we've asked our all art students within Leander ISD to create a sculpture out of recycled materials and submit it for judging by the Public Arts Commission. So we've got 3 categories of sculptures. We've got interior, exterior, and wall hanging. And so we actually had an excellent turnout this year. We had about 50 different sculptures from area high schools, probably 15 at Rouse. We had several of our winners are from the Leander area, but we've got most of our winners here tonight. So as I call their names, and I'll just give a little blurb about each sculpture. I think all of them are on the monitors where you can see. And then they'll stand up, and at the end, of course, we'll have our group picture. So from our first category for interior sculpture, we have Hannah Swartz from Vista Ridge High School. For the sculpture E-Sig, you can see the one kind of smoking something right there in the black. It's an interior sculpture less than 3 feet tall, and I think the idea with this one was humans' consumption of natural resources. Our second place sculpture for interior is Twisted Tree by Marin Haddon. And there's a little tree. You can see it. It's in the foyer as well. After the meeting, you can go by and see it. It's a beautiful little piece, very intricate, that she completed with found copper wire. Third place is, she's from Vista Ridge High School. I don't know if I said that. Third place is Tab Fish by Carmen Venegas. And she is from Vista Ridge High School as well. And Carmen actually, let's see if this piece is up here. I don't know if this one actually made it, but it is in the foyer, and she actually hand-sewed little pieces of tabs that were found, and as well as melted plastic and various little elements of mirrors and found objects. Very neat. Okay, so for exterior sculpture, we have first place is Drifting Apart by Sarah McLeland and Cassie Canuck. And this one is, you can kind of see a pyramid right here in disarray. Now, within that pyramid is a perfect wood pyramid suspended from within. And it kind of shows, like, where we've come from and, or possibly the hope of where we're moving to. But it basically represents hope and the state that the earth is in. It's all from found and recycled wood. Second place for exterior sculpture, and these are all over 3 feet and weatherproof, by the way. Second place for exterior sculpture is I Spy by Audrey Leeper and Chase Hildebrand. And that's the table that you see right there. That was a discarded table. It's held together with melted plastic. It's really inventive. And then it's filled with what we would normally discard, little toys and found objects cast in resin. So when you sit at it, it's almost like an interactive piece because you can feel some of the little toys sticking out. It's really actually a very neat piece. And then third place for exterior sculpture, both of these ladies or both of these groups for the last 2 sculptures are from Vandergrift High School. Third place for exterior sculpture is Canned Elephant by Marin Ellis. She was one of our winners last year. With her sister, I believe they did a group project. Canned elephant is, I believe, if you can see the silver elephant right there that's made out of recycled cans. It's in the corner. It's a little bit better picture up here on the monitor. Now from the back, you have all the color. This is the interior of the can. She unrolled each one of those cans and built that sculpture and attached it to like a garden trellis type of thing. And then it's functional too because the elephant actually holds a flower made out of the recycled cans, and then in the top it actually has a flower as well. So you can set it in your garden. It's a really neat piece. Okay, and then now we're going to move on to wall hangings. So first place for the wall hanging sculptures is the Vandergrift High School Art Club. Now these are the angel wings that I don't know that you've seen in the lobby, but you can see right here how long this sculpture is. It's made from basically over 22 students, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 22? Gathered cans and cardboard from all over the school, and then unrolled them, cut them up, turned each one into a feather, and adhered it to make the angel wings and a rainbow to represent Ariel, which is the name of the sculpture, and I believe she is the angel of nature. Am I correct in saying that? And so they did win first place. Now, because the Art Commission liked this concept so much, we decided to not necessarily purchase the sculpture, but purchase the concept from the high school art club so that we can commission either students or other artists to build wings like this in the future. And the reason why is because it is interactive. And even as we were walking through the hall, students were standing in front of the angel wings, like personifying Ariel is the idea, but it's really a fun piece because it looks like you have wings. So we love this. We thought this would be a really neat addition to some of our public places, our public spaces, and our parks. So we went ahead and purchased the concept from Vandergrift High School. Now, second place, so congratulations to the art club, because that's really phenomenal. Second place for wall hanging is the plastic turtle, also from Vandergrift. That's by Essa Garrett. And this is also on a table in the front entryway. And that was collected, washed up pieces from beaches that she compiled into a sculpture of a turtle. It is hangable on the wall. And actually a conservation group has asked her to send that to them. So they'll be receiving that. She's sharing that with them. And then third place is The Bear by Mary Page Perry from Cedar Park High School. Is she here? I don't know that she is here tonight. But you can see the bear right there. That's made out of cardboard and glass and styrofoam. And it's really neat. From the front, of course, you can see that it's a bear. But it's actually built in, each layer makes it three-dimensional. So the bear's about this wide. And when you look at it, it's just layers of glass and cardboard and styrofoam. It's really a fun piece. So these are our winners, and I'd like to thank Alcoss and Disposal for bringing this idea, really, to helping us bring this idea to fruition. Thank you to all of the art teachers from LISD who have gotten so excited about this. It's growing every year. Next year we do expect more Leander schools to be involved. They've already expressed their interest and doing that in next year's curriculum. So
I want to bring all the winners, everyone that won, if you would come down here to the front, please,
yes,
for us. And the Arts Commission. Anybody here from the Arts Commission? Come on down.
Yes.
And Ms. Jones.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, Mike, let's do another picture like we did with the motorcycle group. Yeah. Make it a little bit easier since we have this many people.
The guys are staying where they are.
Those who gets up above the lectern?
They're not moving. Oh, yeah, they are. They don't like each other. It's exciting. Great job, guys and girls.
Thank you all. We look forward to going out and looking at the pieces after the meeting, so thank you. I'm going to give them just a second to exit, and then we'll move on. Okay, council, I'm going to go ahead and move to our consent agenda. This is an action item.
I'll motion to approve.
A second?
It's been a motion made for approval by Councilmember Shepherd with a second by Councilmember Navarrette. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. We'll now move to our public hearing section. These are action items. Item number 14 is to conduct a public hearing regarding zoning case 18-Z-009 to amend the current zoning of Interim SFS-2-B single-family suburban and Interim SFR-1-B single-family rural to TF-2A two-family and SFC-2A single-family compact on two parcels of land, approximately 58.3 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcels R4-33339 and R3833653, and generally located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Collaborative Way and C.R. 279, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Mr. Yanis.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members. This is the public hearing and first reading of a rezoning request. The property is located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Collaborative Way and Baghdad Road. The applicant is requesting the zoning districts of two-family, which is duplex zoning, as well as single-family compact, both with the Type 2 site component and the Type A architectural component. This property is located within a mixed-use corridor on the city's land use plan, as well as within the neighborhood residential district. Within the mixed-use corridor, the two-family district is appropriate, and within the neighborhood residential district, the single-family compact district is appropriate as well. There you can see the land use designations for the property. The composite zoning ordinance does stipulate that the two-family district be limited to no more than 10 contiguous acres. This project does not quite comply with that. However, the applicant's presentation will describe how those areas are broken up based on the topography and the natural features of the land. The Planning and Zoning Commission did hold a public hearing on this case at their meeting on April the 12th, and they voted 5-1 to recommend approval of the applicant's request, with Chairman Sokol opposing, and his reason for opposing was that the proposal did not include a commercial component at the intersection of Collaborative Way and Baghdad Road, because he felt that that was an important intersection to include that. I would be happy to answer any questions that the council has after the public hearing. The applicant is here and has a presentation as well.
That'd be great. Can I have the applicant come up?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Peter Verdicchio with SEC Planning. Here this evening on behalf of Guillen Homes, who desires to purchase property and develop a residential community on the property. I'll address the two comments that Tom has touched on. The first one, as you can see by the zoning request in front of you, it's kind of a unique boundary between the two pieces of zoning districts. We make this request after going through several rounds of land plan designs and meeting with city staff and working through it, so they're not just random lines placed on a piece of paper. One of the things that has driven the design is the fact that the property is bisected by 3 riparian corridors. So while the two-family is greater than 10 acres, when you look at it, and we went through an analysis, really what we end up with is a tract on the far north that's approximately 4 acres, then a riparian corridor, then in the middle another development parcel of about 5.8 acres, and then another riparian corridor, and south of that is 14.1 acres. So when you look at it, it'll be 3 different neighborhoods, all divided by riparian corridor, that we anticipate creating parkland, trails, and open space in those areas. Just for a sense of scale, I did some quick math on it, and the mixed-use corridor, the property has about 1,700 feet of frontage, and with the 500-foot depth, that area alone is 20 acres if we were to just comply with the mixed-use corridor requirements for that land area. So it's a large land area, and we try to be creative and responsive to the existing conditions. The second item of note, Tom did touch on the commercial, and we did have a significant discussion. We met with P&Z last week, and the mixed-use corridor within the land use plan states that commercial is appropriate at intersections, and we really spent a lot of time talking through that internally before making the zoning request. And it's our opinion, when we look at Collaborative Way and the length of Collaborative Way and where it kind of stops on both east and west, and when one looks at St. Gabriel south of us from 183A all the way over to Baghdad, and how it's essentially zoned already for mixed use, commercial, and that sort of thing, we just did not feel that this corner was an appropriate corner for commercial use. Therefore, the request before you is for the two-family and the single-family. Available for any questions that you may have.
Great. Thank you. We'll bring you back up after the public hearing.
Thank you.
Great. This is a public hearing. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. I'm going to ask Mr. Ursel Bashir, come on up. Mr. Bashir, if you state your name and address for the record, you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council and staff. My name is Ursel Bashir. I reside at 30401 St. Andrews in Georgetown. I'm a commercial real estate broker, and I'm here this evening representing the Lackey family, which are the sellers of the property that's before you this evening. We're here this evening to request that you accept the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission and grant the zoning for this property. There is a question about whether a commercial node should be identified at this location. Technically, we don't own the corner of Collaborative Way, and that's because there's a 50-foot strip of land that abuts the south boundary of the Lackey property and sits between the Lackey property and Collaborative Way. That piece of property was part of the Deerbrook subdivision and is one of their landscape easements, so we don't go to the corner. But even if you said, okay, we need commercial at this location, we understand that is a goal of the cities. We have 311 acres sitting across the road that is also on the market for sale. At the time that property is developed, County Road 280 is going to have to be realigned to make a true intersection here, a four-way intersection, and we're more than happy to add whatever commercial component you think you need to that parcel, because we're going to need it to pay for the cost of building the roads. So we're here to ask that you support or accept the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation, and thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bashir. The public hearing is still open. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. We're going to move to discuss and consider action on the first reading of an ordinance amending the current zoning of Interim SFS-2-B single-family suburban and Interim SFR-1-B single-family rural to TF2A two-family and SFC2A single-family compact on two parcels of land approximately 58.3 acres, more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcels R433339 and R383653, and generally located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Collaborative Way and C.R. 279, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Council?
I motion to approve and accept Planning and Zoning's recommendation.
I'll second.
There's a motion made for approval of Planning and Zoning's recommendation by Councilmember Stevenson with a second by Councilmember Shepard. Is there further discussion?
I had some questions.
Mr. Hill, I'll give you.
Of the developer, if I could.
Yes, sir.
How many units are we talking about here?
It's not in here. Oh, sorry.
Time's up.
Wrong. Let me see here. So the tentative plan that we have prepared and we have met and presented to the staff has approximately 125 duplex units. and then another 110 detached residential units for approximately 235. Now, granted, that number will likely change as we go through the process, but ballpark as we're beginning the dialogue, that was the number.
And what size lots are the 110 detached units?
50 by 120s.
50 by 120. You have any pictures of the houses themselves?
No, but as we were preparing for this evening, as I shared with you, Guillen is the home builder that seeks to develop this project, and of course, Guillen is building in several communities within the city. And so the quality, the architectural style will be representative of such as like concrete and the product that's over there.
Okay.
Mr. Aberzees?
I have a question for Mr. Yanis. I think I'll start with. If you could put up the arterial, I mean, not the.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, thank you. I just have a quick question about so to do the two-family.
Yes.
Right. It's going to go. If you look at I'm just looking at the spread of the trees on the property.
Yes.
Is it more impactful on the removal of trees with the two-family versus the what's the other one? The single-family compact?
No, I think it would actually, you have potentially more flexibility with the two-family lots because they're a little bit larger.
That's what I want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? Okay, we do have a motion and a second for approval. Is there further discussion? All in favor? And motion does carry unanimously. Thank you. We will move to item number 15. Item number 15 is conduct a public hearing regarding zoning case 17-Z-030 to amend the current zoning of Interim SFR-1-B single-family rural district to SFR-2-B single-family rural district on one parcel of land, approximately 7.42 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Travis Central Appraisal District parcel number 353649, legally described as Lot 40 of the Hidden Mesa Subdivision and generally located at the eastern terminus of Mesa Oaks, Leander, Travis County, Texas. Mr. Yanis.
Thank you, Mayor. This is also the public hearing and first reading of a rezoning request for this parcel, which is an existing lot in the Hidden Mesa Subdivision. Y'all may recognize this property because we are also in the process of annexing it. The applicant has requested to zone the property to SFR-2-B, which is our typical combination of site and architectural component with the SFR district. As you know, when we initially annex a property, it comes in with interim zoning, Interim SFR-1-B, so the applicant's requesting the permanent zoning of SFR-2-B in order to be able to develop large lot, single-family detached neighborhood on this lot. And the Planning and Zoning Commission did unanimously recommend approval of the request at their meeting last week, and I'd be happy to answer any questions after the public hearing.
Is the applicant here, and do they wish to make a presentation?
Yeah.
Would you like to make a presentation, Mr. Vogel?
My name is Eric Vogel. I'm the owner of the property. I'm just here to answer any questions if they come up.
Okay, great. We'll get to that after the public hearing. So this is a public hearing. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. Would anyone like to speak on this item? Would anyone like to speak on this item? Okay, hearing none, we're going to close the public hearing. We're going to move to discuss and consider action on the first reading of an ordinance amending the current zoning of Interim SFR-1-B single-family rural district to SFR-2-B single-family rural district on one parcel of land, approximately 7.42 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Travis Central Appraisal District parcel number 353649, legally described as Lot 40 of the Hidden Mesa Subdivision and generally located at the eastern terminus of Mesa Oaks, Leander, Travis County, Texas. Council?
Motion to approve.
A second.
There's been a motion made for approval by Pro Tem Seiler with a second. I'm going to recognize Councilmember Stevenson. Was that correct? Were you one of them? Councilmember Stevenson, were you one of the ones making a second?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll recognize Councilmember Stevenson. Is there further discussion on this item?
If nobody else, I just have one question for Mr. Yanis. These are large lots, acre?
Yes, sir.
Is there, what is the requirement for water?
They will connect to the city's water system that is in existence in High Lonesome and County Road 290.
So how close is it to the?
It's adjacent to the property.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great. Is there any additional comments, questions? Okay, we do have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor? And motion does carry unanimously. Go build them, Mr. Vogel. We'll move to item number 16. We're going to conduct a public hearing regarding special use case 18-SU-003 to allow for outdoor storage, including a mix of construction trucks, trailers, excavation equipment, up to 10,000 square feet of material storage, and office warehouse uses on 2 parcels of land, approximately 1.1 acre more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcels R473393 and R482676, generally located 750 feet to the northwest of the intersection of RM 2243 and CR 269, and addressed as 1670 CR 269, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Mr. Yanis.
Thank you, Mayor. This item and the next item are related. They're the same property. This item is seeking to have a special use permit approved to allow for an interim type of use on the property, and then the next item is to establish permanent zoning for the property as it redevelops in the future. The first case, the special use permit, is to allow for the site to continue to be utilized for office warehouse use, as well as to expand the outdoor storage component of the site's use. This would not typically be allowed in this location, and it will not comply with the permanent zoning request of GC3A. However, as an interim condition, until the property is redeveloped, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the special use permit to allow Mr. Carson to continue to lease the property for the office warehouse and outdoor storage use until he no longer owns the property, or until the property is redeveloped if a development application comes in for the property. So that's the special use case permit, and so that's the item that we're on right now. And the P&Z did recommend approval. There was one item that the Commission modified based on the staff recommendation. The staff had recommended not to allow barbed wire fencing. However, we were not clear on what the request was. There's an existing fence that has strands of barbed wire across the top. We were thinking that they were adding barbed wire. That's not the case, so they just want the ability to leave the existing fence with the strands of barbed wire on the top, and the Commission recommended approval of granting the special use permit and allowing the barbed wire fence to remain. So the applicant is here. Mr. Betts, representing the applicant, is here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions after the public hearing.
Mr. Betts, do you have any comments before the public hearing?
No, sir. I'm not. But happy to answer. Ryan Betts, happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
Great. Thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing. We're going to go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. Would anyone like to speak on this item? Would anyone like to speak on this item? Okay, hearing none, we're going to close the public hearing. We're going to move to discuss, consider action on first reading of an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow for outdoor storage, including a mix of construction trucks, trailers, excavation equipment, up to 10,000 square feet of material storage, and office warehouse uses on 2 parcels of land, approximately 1.1 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District's parcel R473393 and R482676, generally located 730 feet to the northwest of the intersection of RM 2243 and CR 269, and addressed as 1670 CR 269, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Council?
Motion to approve the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay.
With the recommendation.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay. There's a motion made for approval with Planning and Zoning recommendations from Pro Tem Seiler, with a second by Councilmember Stevenson. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. Were you in favor, Mr. Hill? I'm sorry.
Sir.
I just couldn't see you.
My big head was in the way.
That's all right. You were leaning forward, he was leaning back, so I missed it.
I'd just like to say this is a good example of our staff working with some of the local landowners, and I just want to thank them for this. Thank you.
Good compromise.
Great. We'll move to item number 17. Item number 17 is conduct a public hearing regarding zoning case 18-TOD-Z-004 to amend the current zoning of PUD-TOD Plan Unit Development, Transit-Oriented Development to PUD-TOD Plan Unit Development, Transit-Oriented Development with the following base zoning districts: GC3A, General Commercial, on 2 parcels of land approximately 1.1 acre more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcels R473393 and R482676, generally located 730 feet to the northwest of the intersection of RM 2243 and CR 269 and addressed as 1670 CR 269 Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Mr. Yanis?
Thank you, Mayor. So the same property, this is establishing the permanent zoning-based district. This is in the conventional development sector of the TOD, so when the property owner is ready to develop their site or establish zoning, the process is to identify the base zoning district and go through the rezoning process. So the applicant has requested the general commercial base zoning district with the type 3 site component and the type A architectural component, which is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The Planning and Zoning Commission did unanimously recommend approval of this request at their meeting last week. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great. Mr. Betts, once again, do you have any comments on this piece before we move forward?
No, sir.
Great, thank you. This is a public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing at this time. Would anyone like to speak on this item? Would anyone like to speak on this item? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. We're going to move to discuss, consider action on the first reading of an ordinance amending the current zoning PUD TOD Planned Unit Development Transit-Oriented Development to PUD TOD Planned Unit Development Transit-Oriented Development with the following base zoning districts of GC 3A General Commercial on 2 parcels of land, approximately 1.1 acre more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcels R473393 and R482676, generally located 730 feet to the northwest of the intersection of RM 2243 and CR 269 and addressed at 1670 CR 269 Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Council?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
It's been a motion made for approval by Councilmember Shepard with a second by Councilmember Stevenson. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. You bet. Thank you, Mr. Betts. We'll now move to item number 18. Council's a little bit different wording in the agenda. I just want to make sure that one of the words a line got left off in the agenda, so I've got the correct wording here as it was posted. Conduct a public hearing and consider action regarding zoning case 18-Z-007 to amend the current zoning of SFU-2-B single-family urban to GC-2A general commercial, GC-2B general commercial, NR-2B neighborhood residential, and LC-2B local commercial on 2 parcels of land approximately 15.6 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcels R512383 and R032149, generally located 700 feet more or less to the west of the intersection of Hero Way West and Baghdad Road on the south side of Baghdad Road and addressed as 12245 Hero Way West, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Council, if you'll please notice on the dais you do have a petition. Everyone should have a copy of that. Let me explain what that is before we move to this item. So state law says if a petition is turned in with 20% of the residents within the 200 feet notification zone, correct?
It's the owners of 20% of the land area within the 200 feet.
Owners of 20% of the land area. Thank you for clarification. Within the 200 feet notice area, then it would then require a supermajority, which would be 6. They failed to meet that requirement, so we still only have 4 votes required to pass or fail this item. It is on there. It has been vetted. The signatures represent 14.78%. So you know and have that in front of you, and feel free to ask any questions about that when we get further into the item. Mr. Yanis?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a public hearing and first reading of a rezoning request. This property is located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Baghdad Road and Hero Way West. This is within a community center and a mixed-use corridor, and a portion of it in the neighborhood residential on the future land use map. You can see that there. It's within the blue, which is our community center. Community centers on the land use plan are intended to provide for a mixture of commercial and residential development that serves a larger area within the community. So you would have retail uses such as grocery stores and things along those lines that serve not just the immediately adjacent neighborhoods, but the entire community within a certain radius. Also, we call for a mixture within our community centers of residential uses as well as non-residential uses so that they create opportunities for people to live within those areas and have convenient access to the services and retail and employment that may be located within them as well. So the applicant's request is for a mixture of zoning districts in keeping with the goals of the plan to have a mixture of residential and non-residential uses within the community centers. The applicant's request was for a mixture of general commercial, local commercial, and neighborhood residential. As the council will recall, the neighborhood residential district was a recently adopted zoning use component that allows for small-scale multifamily that is compatible in scale and size to single-family residential. So the way that is achieved is by limiting the lot size upon which the buildings can be built to no more than 2 times the size of the adjacent single-family lots, and to limit the height and scale of the buildings to be no more than 2 stories and no more than 14,000 square feet in size. And so that creates buildings that are more in keeping with single-family residential homes in the area. The city's composite zoning ordinance also has 3 components, as you all know. It has the use component, the site component, and the architectural component. The way that those 3 items work together is to provide for appropriate transitions between uses. So in this case, the applicant's request for the Type 2 site component and the Type A architectural component with the general commercial use component adjacent to the single-family residential neighborhood is in keeping with the intent statements of the composite zoning ordinance, which state for the Type 2 site component that it is intended to be utilized for, it is intended to be utilized with non-residential developments that are adjacent to a residential district. So that was the reasoning behind the Type 2 site component. And then the Type A architectural component also states that it is intended to be utilized in combination to combine with appropriate use and site components to help provide for harmonious land use transitions by applying this component to a less restrictive use or site component adjacent to a more restrictive use or site component. It may also be utilized to help ensure compatibility for non-residential uses with adjacent property that is more restricted. So that's the reason for the combination of the use and site and architectural component with the GC district, which typically our GC combination would be the Type 3 site component. So that's why you step down to the Type 2. The applicant's request was heard at the Planning and Zoning Commission last week, and the Commission did unanimously recommend approval with one modification, and that modification was to change the general commercial use component to the local commercial use component adjacent to the Westwood subdivision. And there's a map in the packet that shows the approximation of what the Commission's recommendation is with the local commercial district there. The Commission also recommended a condition in the zoning case that would remove the restriction on the hours of operation from the local commercial district. Our local commercial district has an hours of operation restriction, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head right this minute, but I will look that up for you and have that answer because I'm sure there will be questions. But the Commission wanted to limit the uses, not the hours of operation, and that was their reason for that, and that was based on the applicant's request. And I said that it's an approximation of how the districts will actually shake out, because once the property is platted, there will be an extension of a roadway into the site, and the district boundary will be defined by the edge of the roadway. So it's close to what it will look like, but not quite exact, based on how the road will come into the site. I would be happy to answer any questions that the council has. The applicant is here, and also, I'm sure, would like to present to the council.
You bet. The applicant, come on up. Yep, come on up, please.
Good evening. I'm Jimmy Griffith with Griffith Consulting, representing the owner of the property. Mr. Chaka is out of town today. Otherwise, he would be here. I don't know that I really have a lot to present. Y'all have got a lot to go through. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have at the appropriate time.
Great. Thank you, sir. Okay, this is a public hearing. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. I do have several people that have spoke. I'm going to call you up in no particular, have signed up to speak, I'm sorry. I'm going to call you up in no particular order. When I do, if you would please address the council with your name and address, and the light will come on and you'll have 3 minutes. I'll call Cheryl Allen. You're the lucky one that gets to go first. Sal, if you'll please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir, thank you. My name is Cheryl Allen, and I live at 306 Bellow Drive. I am totally against this. All the homeowners that when we bought our property, we did our research. We didn't, go in this blindly, and it was zoned single family. If you notice, everything around it is pretty much single family. Now, I understand the investors part of it, but to come in and try to put commercial and especially without restricted hours or anything like that, there's a lot of concern as to what's going in there, what kind of light pollution, what kind of setbacks would be allowed, what kind of noise pollution, and the trees on here, they have heritage trees all throughout this property. I don't know if any of y'all have ever actually gone and seen it, but that is a beautiful piece of property, and it would just be a shame to see it go to commercial. We have put up a petition and gone around the neighborhood, and the majority of it is definitely against this zoning that they're requesting. So that's all I have to say right now.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Allen. Michelle Blank.
Hi, I'm Michelle Blank, 1508 Candlelight Drive. I'm one of the corner lots right against the edge of the property being rezoned. My main concern for myself and all of the property owners along the area is deprecation of value of our properties being against commercial zone and multifamily housing. As Cheryl said, the heritage trees are amazing, and there is a riparian way running across the very back half of the property, which would limit the capabilities of the NR and the LC buildings. I also am concerned about light pollution, the noise on that front half of the property, and actually traffic. By building so many houses and so much commercial in that space, we see a lot of problems still along Hero Way there. So the traffic does concern me significantly. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Deanna Root.
Hello, my name is Deanna Root. I live at 205 Michael Cove in the Westwood neighborhood. I live in Westwood, which is adjacent to the proposed rezoning lot. I'm an active member of the Leander community and have served both on the HOA board of the affected neighborhood, and I'm going on my second year serving as vice president of Baghdad's Elementary's PTA. I'm here today to ask that City Council consider a modified zoning proposal. Westwood is a neighborhood comprised of around 500 homes. Of particular note, of the 46 lots adjacent this proposed rezoning area, the vast majority are from our neighborhood. My neighbors and I are concerned that improper zoning and construction could potentially lower homeowner value and thus overall value and desirability of our neighborhood. As someone who has worked on multiple community projects to improve our area, including the installation of a new playground equipment and a little free library, I've worked hard to ensure our neighborhood is safe, desirable, and well kept. As Leander is quickly growing, I see how we struggle to come to terms with that growth and how to best find the intersection of commercial and residential as well as open and green spaces. With around 17 new Leander residents a day, I believe the key to success as a growing city is smart strategic growth. With that growth comes rezoning, such as the case we are facing today. While building commercial certainly helps offset our tax base, leaving residential only leaves a sea of homes with no services to support them because our residents and businesses would spend their hard-earned dollars in other zip codes. Too much construction leads us to a sea of pavement, which I'm sure most of us would agree is undesirable. And finally, we must acknowledge landowners' rights to utilize and develop their property for the most value. This includes both Westwood owners and the proposed rezoning property. After careful consideration and much research, it is my ask that City Council do the following. If any rezoning occurs, allow for 50-foot setbacks adjacent the Westwood neighborhood. For the side of the lot adjacent westward, zone only for NR, neighborhood residential, and for the remaining piece of the property zone for LC light commercial, along with the recommendation of planning and zoning's removal of the hour restrictions. These requests not only allow for a proper transition from single-family homes to general commercial because the other lot on the other side is general commercial. That lot is near the gas station. I specifically asked for 50-foot setbacks, just as the property outlined in their letter of intent when asking for GC zoning. They were already prepared for this space to be used as setback, and as such, I'd like to keep any other zoning that way as well. Thank you again for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Will Hudson?
Hi there, Will Hudson. I live at 320 Bellow Drive in the Westwood neighborhood. I'm a single father. I have 2 young boys who are with me tonight. My house backs up to the property in question. I'm speaking tonight for 3 reasons. First, as an impacted person by the proposed zoning changes. Second, on behalf of my neighbors who signed up for this petition. And third, as a concerned citizen of Leander. Before I get started real fast, let me just say that I never received written notification, even though I'm in the 200-foot impacted zone. There could be other residents that also did not get notified. I would appreciate more time to consider this, given that we did not all get notified. But given that, on behalf of myself and my sons, I'm asking the City Council tonight to not change the zoning of the parcel of land to commercial. We don't want to live and grow up behind a Walgreens or a McDonald's. We love those companies. We like them a lot, but we don't want to live behind them. It's not a very conducive atmosphere to raise children in. In fact, when we bought our house, this was a concern of mine because this was a big horse farm that we were concerned may turn into commercial. So we checked, and we found out it was zoned for single-family urban. Great. New neighbors, worst case scenario on my back porch, but hey, I actually liked my neighbors, so that would be a great opportunity for us. When I and my neighbors and the owner of this property bought our land, everything here was zoned single-family urban. The proposal in front of you tonight is a proposal from one of those landowners to change the conditions that existed when he bought his land. We believe that this is an effort to enrich his property value by stealing ours. Make no mistake, rezoning this property under any conditions to commercial will steal value from our land. This is unfair. And as citizens of the community, we're asking the council tonight to do what it's chartered to do, which is look out for the interests of the many neighbors over the interests of the one real estate speculator. If he wanted to profit from his purchase of that property in this way, he should have checked the zoning before he bought it. Finally, as a concerned citizen, I'm worried about what I see in Leander as commercial fever. Driving down Hero Way along the access roads to 183A and down Ronald Reagan, anyone can see we have a glut of properties that are currently zoned commercial already for sale. We don't need additional property zoned commercial. What we need is developers to develop the land that is already zoned commercial into what all property taxpayers in Texas really want, high-end retail. As we've seen in Round Rock and Cedar Park, high-end retail is attracted to high-end housing for the simple reason that that's where their customers live. The city needs to continue to encourage high-end residential, which increases not only the property tax base of the residents of the residential districts of the city, but also increases the surrounding residential property values. Adding more commercial property to the city now only increases the supply of a commodity, land, which is already oversupplied, driving down prices of commercial properties. Cheap land encourages cheap developments, and Leander doesn't need any more low-calorie commercial strip malls. As more high-income earners move into our city, they will attract the high-end developers eager to develop the lands we already have.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. Michael Eckert.
Hi, my name is Michael Eckert. I live at 302 Bellow Drive. I'm accompanied with my wife here. Well, we were the second house built in the subdivision in 2001, and we have a heritage oak in our front yard that I measured 12 feet around, putting Christmas lights on, okay? So, and this land is inundated with these heritage oaks. And reading on the city council's website that there are developers that have ways of taking out these oaks by planting smaller trees to add up to that circumference. I plead with you guys to save these oaks. I'm all about the partition of the buffer. I am a residential and a commercial real estate agent. My wife is a mortgage lender. I understand about growth, the eminent domain, and I'm okay with that. You look at Baghdad in 2243, we watched that grow up. In the 80s, it was all cornfields out here. I remember, right? But I'm about city growth. And so as these things develop, these tracks, this one track that backs up to this bellow is right up against the residential, okay? And we, I'm asking the council to rethink this, and there has to be a way that this developer can give us a buffer zone and protect these trees that are over 18 inches. I recommend, if y'all haven't seen this property, to go take a look at it. It is absolutely gorgeous with these trees. I heard that there was a proposal that, to sell it to the city for a parkland. The investor, I know him. He paid somewhere between $700,000 and $800,000 for it. He's got it on the market for $6 million. I understand that, okay? But, Leander can't pay $6 million for it when there's a park not far from it, Divine Lake. So I understand that as well. I just plead with you guys to just re-look at this thing. There must be a way we can reorganize this in a way that it works for everyone. And please save these trees. My tree, they had to build our house let me just say this. When our home was built, because of this tree, they put our home way back on the end of the lot. So I've got this really long driveway, but my backyard's about this far. It's only about 25 feet from the back of the house to the back fence. And I like that, okay? But then putting commercial behind there or whatever, we need a buffer zone. And really, I've lived in Leander for 17 years now, and I don't see these heritage oaks anywhere, this amount, okay? So I just plead that y'all would reconsider, okay, and give us time. Let's re-look at this and see if we can work out something that works for everyone. Thank you,
Mr. Eckert. That's everyone that have signed up to speak, but the public hearing is still open. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Last chance. Yes, ma'am. What I'm going to ask for you to do is come on up and do the same thing, say your name and address, and then when you're done, if you'll grab one of these cards and fill it out for us so we've got a record, okay?
Okay, great.
Great, thank you.
So my name is Danielle Hernandez Romero. I live at 2215 Lauren Loop. My house does not buckle up to the property, but I am here in support of those on Bellow that this property stay as a single-family unit. I just want it to be on record to do that.
Great, thank you, ma'am. If you would fill out a card for me, that'd be great.
Where do I get the cards at? Up there? All right, thank you.
Great. The public hearing is still open. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am. If you'll do the same for me, if you'll just fill out a card when we're done.
Good evening. My name is Esmeralda Rodriguez. I live at 304 Bellow Drive. My property does back into this property. When I bought my home, the thing that I loved most about was the backyard. I don't really care for the house, but that's an amazing backyard. I pictured one day I'm going to have children, one day I'm going to put up my trampoline, I'm going to put up a playscape. My baby turned 2. She's finally ready for a playscape. And now hearing this, yesterday I think for the first time, I'm just blown away. How can this just be taken away for me, my family, for my neighbor's family? It's not fair. It's not fair for the benefit of another. Just to make more money, we have to suffer. Please reconsider this.
Great. Thank you, ma'am. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am. Just don't forget to fill out a card for me. I do need those.
Hello, my name is Mandy Brown.
Pull that down for me. Thank you. There you go.
Okay, I'm Mandy Brown. I live at 310 Bellow. I'm about midway down the street between the two coves, and my property backs up to the property that y'all are trying to rezone, or that's being proposed. My concern is obviously noise pollution and light pollution. Right now, my son and I go back in the backyard every day, or we were, and we would go look at the horses and pet them because they would come up to the fence. And now we're worried about being overrun with concrete and the trees just going away, and it's, we're worried. So we just ask you to consider that whenever you're going to vote on this. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Doing the back, on the outside of the table. Yes, ma'am, come on up.
Hello, my name
name is Tony Pulido, and I'm at 2014.
Can you scoot over to the mic? There you go. Thank you.
My name is Tony Pulido, and I'm at 2014 Cottontail Drive. And no, I don't. My address, my home does not back to that either. But we're all affected in this community. Please, I plead, I beg. Please do not let them rezone. Make them. Well, not make them. That sounds bad, but we're concerned. If it was your community, I'm sure you would not want this to happen. If, again, I'm going to repeat what they've said. If you could go out and look at this property, you will see it is beautiful. I would encourage, I mean, if it was possible that the city could buy this land, I mean, it is beautiful. Buy the horses and make some money off of it. The thing is, you need to go there so you can appreciate it, so that you know why we're so concerned about losing it to commercial, to getting it rezoned. If you want to make homes, fine. I'm sure there's other requirements, but please do not let them rezone it. I'm extremely opposing the rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am.
Hi. My name is Rebecca Swilling, and I live with my husband at 402 Bellow. It's one of the ones closer to Hero Way. We actually just bought this house in December 2016, so I mean, it was great as the backyard we had. Knowing it would go to commercial, I would not buy the house. I'm worried about property value, noise pollution, sound pollution, taking away the restriction of hours on limited commercial doesn't seem like anything anybody would want to live with right beside their house. Also, I read something about the masonry fence being they would put a 6-foot masonry fence somewhere. We have other houses on that back fence line that have 8-foot fences. We were actually planning on soon putting up an 8-foot fence, and I didn't know. I was just consideration of an 8-foot fence for something that's going to be that close to our backyards and our houses. I feel like it's going to somewhat be rezoned eventually, but we would like that buffer, a bigger buffer between the residential and commercial, if there is going to be one. And definitely our restrictions are something residential I feel like really needs if it's going to be right behind them.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Shelley Tarbox. I live at 210 Briarwood Drive. I do not back up to this property, but I am living out there. I am worried about my property value. We were concerned when the gas station came, and we have noticed increased traffic as well as people out there. It is being built up. It is a residential area. I agree. Having a nice buffer, or even just making that entire one area by our neighborhood be the residential before you go into local commercial. Just something so that our neighborhood isn't right against some kind of retail or concrete type thing to make it still have that homey feel that we currently have.
Great, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Yes, sir. Come on up. You're next.
Hi, Johnny Arp. I live at 308 Bellow Drive. These are some of my neighbors here. Hey, we moved in 7 years ago, my wife and myself and 3 sons, and like everyone else has said here, we did our research. We even looked at other properties before purchasing this house that had empty lots, behind it, and hey, they were zoned commercial. This one's was obviously zoned single family, and honestly, that's what I would like to see it stay, is how it was originally zoned. Mike said he's the second house built in the subdivision. He's been there 17 years. And I think tonight, well, about a year ago, we were talking outside, and, he's telling us we built this dream house. We raised our family here. The kids have gone. A lot happens in 17 years, right? You build a whole lifetime of memories and with your family and your neighbors and everything else. And, so proud of his house. He has the best yard on the street. And to hear him tonight say, if they turn this into commercial, I'm going to move. Honestly, that was probably a huge, very heartbreaking to hear, someone that's been there for 17 years, and I couldn't agree with him more. And Will said it best. You're going to steal our land values, to make money, and I kind of feel like that's all it comes down to is money. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Cisneros. I live on 300 Sunnybrook. And just given the common courtesy that no one ever told the homeowners that they were going to consider rezoning, just give them the common courtesy and give them more input of like the schematics of what's going to, what is going to be in there. I'm going to be in this community for 17 years as well. And I'm kind of jealous of his tree. It is beautiful. Something that, it does. I'm all about beautifying Leander. And just to see something, take that into consideration, beautify Leander. I'm always saying that, hashtag beautify Leander. But, just take that into consideration. And, that's all I have to say.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Would anyone else like to speak on this item? Last chance. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. We're going to move to discuss and consider action on amending the current zoning of SFU-2-B single-family urban to GC-2A general commercial, GC-2B general commercial, NR-2B neighborhood residential, and LC-2B local commercial on two parcels of land approximately 15.6 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcels R512383 and R032149, generally located 700 feet more or less to the west of the intersection of Hero Way West and Baghdad Road, on the south side of Baghdad Road, and addressed as 12245 Hero Way West, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. I will make a couple of quick comments, and then I'll have Mr. Yanis come up. In the 11 years that I've been sitting on this dais, we've never had anything come to us, to council, to purchase this land for parkland. So I don't know where that came from, but that's not something we've ever considered or looked at, or has been anything that has come to us. So just so you know that up front. Mr. Yanis, I've got about four identified major issues. The buffer, trees, obviously the setback, and those three issues to start with. Can we start with those?
Sure. The city's composite zoning ordinance has screening, buffering requirements where commercial uses are adjacent to residential uses. One of the things that is required is the construction of a 6-foot masonry wall between the commercial use and the residential use. The other is landscaping requirements. We require all the setback areas to be landscaped with trees and shrubs within that area that's between the residential area and the building setback line on the commercial side. What was the other question that you asked?
The trees.
Oh, yes. So, of course, we have a tree ordinance which protects the trees. All of the trees between 8 and 18 inches have to be surveyed, and the developer can take out up to 50% of those without mitigation, and then over that they have to mitigate. And then the trees between 18 and 26 inches, there's a higher mitigation rate, 2 to 1 for every one that's taken out. And then heritage trees is any tree over 26 inches, and there's a lot of them on this site. Those require special permission from the city council before they can be removed. They require a mitigation rate of 3 inches per every 1 inch removed, as well as a fee of $300 per every 1 inch removed. So it's fairly restrictive for a developer, and the council has not had a history of approving very many heritage tree removal requests. So I know that the developers were well aware of that requirement, and so that is one thing I think that will hopefully ensure that a lot of the trees on the site are retained.
So the wall and the setback would be very similar to where like Lakeline and Crystal Falls, where we have a commercial development that butts up to a residential development at the back of the boulders. Is that would
Sure.
be a similar type of item?
That's
so this
exactly
isn't
right.
something new. This is something we've done in other places in town.
Yes, sir.
Where do you have another?
No, I was just going to say, so the setback between commercial and residential in this area would be 20 feet.
Okay.
And then you would have the wall, and in that 20-foot area is where you'd have the landscaping.
So 20 feet from the back fences of the properties they have now to the wall?
No, the
No.
wall would be on the property line.
On the property line, correct. And then
And
20
then
feet
20 feet before a
before the
building
building.
could start.
Correct. That's what's currently under the code.
That's right.
Correct. Mr. Abaziz?
No, well, the only clarification, the reason that changed to 20 feet is because it went from LC to, or from GC to LC, is that correct?
Yes, I don't have my setback table with me. I'll grab it real quick and make sure I'm quoting the right number.
It's sometimes one of those unintended consequences when we change something, you have to think about what that changes.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's where local commercial or general commercial with
Okay.
a type A site component, type A architectural component, it's 20 feet. If it were a type B architectural component, it'd be 25 feet.
Okay, I thought it was 50 feet for GC, so I'm glad you
That's if
clarified
it has
that.
the type D site component.
That's type D. Oh, okay.
Excuse me, architectural component.
Right, I know what you meant by D.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is the commercial development that the mayor referred to at, we'll call it the Brooklyn Heights Center, I think because there's a roadway behind there.
It's the
distance-
service drive,
but
right.
The distance between the building and the adjacent property is much more than 20 feet, is it not?
Correct, it is. And that's likely, that's typical of a commercial development is that they would have a service area that would be on the back side of the building.
So if we were to request a 50-foot setback, that means the property could start there, but they could still use the back for drive access.
If you stipulated that didn't apply to paving, it just applied to building.
Can we talk about, what about the, this drives me crazy. I was thinking more about the corner of Crystal Falls and Baghdad, where the, that LC building, where the Hinckley's
The
property.
title company?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, where the.
Mason Creek?
Yes, it's where it backs up to Mason Creek. That is the same, that's an LC backing up to a.
Yes.
And so what is the setback there? Because there's no road that goes behind.
Well, there's parking behind
There's
it.
parking, okay.
Right. So it's the building setback that we're talking about. The building
Right.
setback is 20 feet.
Isn't that one local office, though?
I believe you're correct.
Okay, so that's a little different, okay. But I'm just asking about so what's the setback?
It's the same setback
So
requirement.
it's still 20 feet from the property line or 20 feet to the parking lot? I'm just
20
trying-
feet to the building
To the
from the
building?
property.
Right. Okay.
From the property
Right.
line to the building.
Yeah,
Okay.
the paving setback is different.
But you could designate 50 feet.
Right.
As long as it's only for building, not
Right.
for
Okay.
not for driveway.
The paving
Paving.
setback is 5 feet.
Right.
5 feet, okay.
Mr. Yanis, where did the hours of operation restrictions kind of play on planning and zoning?
Well, so I think where the commission was struggling a little bit was they wanted to eliminate some of the uses that are allowed within general commercial, specifically like nightclub came up as a part of the discussion. But they didn't want to implement too many restrictions on the local commercial district related to hours of operation because that would limit some of the types of businesses that would be able to go there, like restaurants or we hear a lot of complaints on the hours of operation in local commercial from things like restaurants, especially ones that have early service, breakfast service, that sort of thing, or have to be there to operate early, as well as we hear it from uses such as daycares where you have early morning drop-offs and things like that. And so that was their thinking because the hours of operation limitations are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. And it's typically that 7 a.m. that's usually the problem because some businesses want to open at 6. And So that was their thinking, was to reduce some of the uses that would maybe be less advantageous in the general commercial district adjacent to residential, but not put too much of a restriction on the hours of operation.
Thank you.
Well, it
Mr.
looks like they
Yance.
have local commercial here that they suggested, and it's from 5 a.m. to 10 on Sunday through Thursday, 5 a.m. to 11
Yeah,
on.
local commercial's 5 a.m.
I'm sorry, 5 a.m. I was quoting
okay,
you the local
okay.
office. Yes, I was quoting you the local office. I'm sorry.
Mr. Hill?
Mr. Yanis, what about the wall or screening past the commercial into the multifamily?
So there would not be a requirement for a masonry wall on the portion that is neighborhood residential. We don't require the masonry between residential districts in the typical requirements of the composite zoning ordinance. I mean, that's something that the council could add as a condition of the zoning if you so chose.
Is that what you're asking? Or are you asking about the future development of commercial between the neighborhood residential as suggested?
The way that it's being proposed, and I know we're just at zoning and not at platting, but when the developer comes through with the plat, there will be a street that is between the neighborhood residential and the commercial on the other side. So.
Was there any consideration to making the neighborhood residential go all along the border of the Westwood community? I don't know if
that's what I was wondering.
Developer.
Well, I think Mr. Griffith could speak to that. I know that one of the things that they wanted to do is actually make use of the tree covered area as a potential site for restaurants with outdoor dining.
Sure.
They're all in that corner.
Right. That's
There's big cluster.
right.
Do you have anything additional?
Come on up.
Yeah, please.
First of all, of course, this is kind of by nature a transitional piece of property. You'll notice that the GC wraps actually around almost two sides of the property as it is. In addressing the trees, part of the reason that we have the depth, that's a little more depth than you would normally expect for not as wide a track, what I've indicated. There's a really nice oak mod up on the front of one of those and then over on the other. And part of the problem, if you start looking at a lot of setbacks and things, in order for somebody to use the property, it presses them to take out trees in order to be able to fully use it. So I think what's intended for the site, and everybody says, what are you going to do? Well, until you kind of know what the zoning is, it's a little hard to know. But generally speaking, the intent, what the owner's been thinking, is restaurant up front. Initially, he hoped not to have to put in a row, but that wasn't going to be possible. So possibly two on either side or some other similar type. You're restricted, so the 2A, is going to restrict that considerably. On the back part, likely a medical professional or professional office building type unit. Neighborhood residential, again, it's kind of new to the city, but some sort of a residential combination on probably 2 4-unit buildings. Fairly restricted because it's restricted to the size relative to the size of the residences over. I think there may be confusion about what the 2A and also the 2B allows. I think I heard a comment about a McDonald's, which would not be allowed under these guidelines. And I think typically what we're really talking about are things that are much more friendly, probably in many regards, than what might be commonly considered a lesser zone, but in reality without the following site and architectural code might actually be friendlier than some of those. But what's intended, at this stage, would be to try to recognize trees and certainly to leave them as much as possible. There are a number of trees, so there are obviously some of the smaller ones probably are going to be sacrificed. Y'all have probably the most, not restrictive. You require more trees and shrubbery, I think, even in the city of Austin, if I'm not mistaken. So you really do. I mean, I'm dealing with a site over at Leander Drive where basically we put in a 20-tree pecan grove in a setback area because there's so many trees required. So, and I love trees, so I'm just making that comment that a lot of the citizens may not realize the degree that your code does go to. I think those were the main comments that I'd wanted to make. I'll be happy to answer any questions that y'all might have.
Sure. Council?
I want to make a comment or two.
Should I be seated or?
You? Yes, that would be fine. I want to address that last comment about the tree ordinance and our landscaping requirements. I think most everyone who spoke tonight appreciates what it looks like here. They enjoy the natural gifts that we have in our landscape. And it wasn't that long ago that we did not have those restrictions. And I think we can all look around and see where those situations were taken advantage of, and we've got some bare-scraped neighborhoods. So personally, I will make no apologies for that. I'm proud that we're doing that. I love that there are some heritage oaks on this property, and I appreciate your thoughts that that might be a hindrance on setbacks. There's got to be a middle ground somewhere. Traditionally, we had a zoning case not very long ago where we talked extensively about transition, and I think ideally this would be a multifamily or a higher density product than commercial, even though it abuts commercial. So we're trying to find some happy medium in there that will respect the neighbors and respect our need to develop more commercial. So just my thoughts.
Yeah. My understanding is the owner actually, before I really got involved, actually was seeking ML, but that was not, the thought of the planning department was that was not really what would be best in the interest of the city. You might be able to better answer that.
Well, like I always say, it's not the thought of the planning department, it's our ordinances. Our comprehensive plan stipulates that multifamily zoning is not called for in community centers. The only place that we allow for multifamily zoning is in activity centers, the TOD, and the employment mixed-use area. That was to get away from having problems that we've experienced in other zoning cases where we've had a request for multifamily zoning immediately adjacent to a single-family residential neighborhood. North Creek being a prime example, just to the north of this site. That was one of the things that led us to change that in our comprehensive plan, was because those types of multifamily buildings are out of scale with single-family residential neighborhoods. And so we changed it, and we even created a new zoning district, neighborhood residential, to bring the scale of the buildings down to be compatible with single-family neighborhoods.
I think what that speaks to is that this is an ongoing process, and there's no perfect recipe, and there's no cookie-cutter way to apply it. So if you'll bear with us as we try to work through this, I feel I speak for everybody that we're trying to be respectful of everyone's rights in this situation.
I did not mean to be negative about the tree, or I'm just saying, I just want to make the comment that it's far more extensive in most cities. And I love the plants too, so I'm with you on that.
It's by design, don't worry.
Yeah.
Sir, can I ask you a question about the 50-foot?
Yes, sir.
What would that do? I mean, I'm asking you to do something off the cuff here, but
I've done a lot of site plans. I think you can see on here.
Can you get on just get to the mic, just so we can get it on the recording?
Excuse me, and I'll kind of turn to the side here like this. I think you can see the trees, particularly on that left-hand side, there's a really large motte that really needs to be left alone like it is, okay? What I'd love to see in it, if I'm the person laying out the site, would be a sitting area, maybe even make it almost a little park area up in the front. The problem is that you do want to have visibility from the main road, and so you have to kind of combine some things. If I look at some signage or some other thing, and then there's restrictions on signage, but some combination of those. when you start coming with 50, if it works out to where you can put parking in there, then that ends up working out. But it depends, and I'm not going to be negative about architects, but architects can have some of their idea about how the buildings ought to lay and that sort of thing. And they may have a strong preference for that parking not to be in the rear, but instead for it to be maybe a rear access for some of the things that you have to do behind there. So when you start pushing back 50, you almost start forcing yourself into that having to be, if you're going to be able to use productively on this side, you're not only talking about losing area to trees, but you got the riparian setback on the back as well, and you have a little bit of floodplain back there, so you're pretty rapidly beginning to eat up acreage. And so that's why my concern is to limit now the future of where those buildings might be located. You might end up wanting to really have, for instance, a restaurant, in this case, facing the road coming in rather than out to the main road, and then you're parking on the sides and then simply rear access on the back. But if you're pushed out 50 feet, there's only, you've really only got probably a couple hundred feet, and the road's going to be coming in lined up, which is already going to make it pretty tough. I think I figured out a way to slip through the trees. But so you're already pushed back by it until you get back into where the main road is going to be. So particularly on the left-hand side, which unfortunately is also the side that's next to the residential. I'm sorry, I'm talking to him. I should be addressing all of you. So when you get into that situation and then you push back 50, now all of a sudden you can pretty quickly make it an unusable tract of land unless you're going to take the trees out and then reorient it in a different way to arrange your parking.
Yeah. Well, I think the issue here is we're trying to also, make sure that it's a good use and that it's not too invasive on residential. I do notice here that what P&Z had suggested was local commercial 2, but 2 allows drive-through lanes.
It does.
It does. So local commercial is going to be better than what general commercial could bring in. So, zoning we have to be careful with because whatever use goes in there can go in there. And trying to make sure that it's a use that isn't going to bother the current residents too much is going to be good. And I can see that that planning and zoning was trying to do that by making it local commercial. But type 2, my only issue is I know that he had said that there wouldn't be drive-through lanes, and I'm afraid if there is a restaurant set up there with drive-through lanes, it's going to take out all those trees. Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't allow for fuel sales and some of those other
some of those other
like
ones.
That.
Okay.
But I would just point out that we typically in other locations in the city have commercial zoning with the type 2 site component adjacent to single family. That is not that's not atypical throughout the city. We have that a lot throughout the city.
Yeah. Well, my concern here is that it's narrow enough that if it does have drive-through lanes, if somebody does go in there and put in drive-through lanes, it's going to take out all the trees.
Well, our ordinances should protect a lot of that.
Yeah. So
It almost seems like just about anything would take out.
Taken out, unless there's a restaurant that's set a little bit back, and maybe they put the parking lot in with the trees or something like that.
Yeah.
That's why I definitely wouldn't change the setbacks or increase them, just because, like he talks about, I think we could get a more unique product in that LC2A up there at the front, work to be able to work around the trees.
Yeah.
Than imposing a
I
greater
agree with
setback and end up with a cheaper product in there.
Definitely. And then it would be enough of a buffer between that and the general commercial, which would be a more intrusive for a neighborhood.
Right.
And keep that way on the other side.
Again, like the Brooklyn Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, council, I need a motion, please.
Time to go home.
Well, part of my worry is that if we do, I'm leaning towards going with planning and zoning's recommendation. My worry is that if we leave it as is, even with the drive-through lanes, that if somebody wants to come back and put that in here, they're going to complain, oh, well, you got to let me take out all the trees. I'm worried about having that argument. I'm worried about having that argument.
That's got to come back.
Yeah, that would have to come back to us.
Could we not
So-
table this, though, and maybe work with him and the planning department and trying to configure something that would maybe try to...
You're more than welcome to make a motion, but I don't know why we would need to table it this time, but you're more than welcome to make a motion.
Is there a way to take out the type 2 and make and say that they can't put service lines in? Is that...
That's what I'm
Is that what you're
calling it.
thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. That's the lines that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Just say,
And say
but with no service lanes.
Just restrict drive-through service?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And do that.
there you go. That sounds like a motion.
And,
So what kind of setback
all
does
right.
that leave?
That would be the regular setback of what, 20 feet?
to the building,
20 feet with a masonry wall. With a masonry wall.
By policy.
Okay.
Is that
Is that a
worrying you?
motion?
Is that a motion?
Yeah, that's my motion.
Okay, so the motion is for approval of P and Z recommendation switching the GC to LC and restricting drive-throughs, keeping the 20-foot setback. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Aversees. Is there further discussion?
My only other question is around the neighborhood residential, since it's something new. What is the setback for those from the property line? Is that our normal?
15 feet.
15 feet?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'll be typically like a backyard.
Right,
So.
right.
Because it's
And those are, because it's residential to residential, there's only wood fence, basically 6 foot.
There's no fencing requirement.
No
but-
fencing.
Right, but that
Right,
would be
but
what
that's
it would
usually
be.
what- okay.
Right.
Normal
I think
residential.
Normal
the
residential.
applicant has a comment.
I think Mr. Griffith has
Go
a
ahead.
question or a comment.
I just wanted to clarify, is the no drive-through the LC or?
It'll be for
Just in the
Just the
LC.
LC.
Just the
Just the
LC.
LC.
2A.
Correct. Okay, council, is there further discussion?
Um,
Yep. Ms. Shepherd?
I'm just, for the record, I'm still not comfortable with the setback.
You
That's
want
all.
more setback?
I do.
What's
Well,
the setback
without
at now,
the-
20
It's 20 feet.
20 feet.
It's 20 feet. What would you suggest increasing it to?
Is that, you don't have a lot of width there.
'Cause
so
that-
you
I
don't
get
have
that.
enough.
Yeah.
It's like 480 feet based on what I can pull up.
But the parking lot itself can come within how many feet?
5
feet,
The
so-
parking lot itself. So,
Building setback is 20 feet.
and when you look at the property, whatever building goes on there is going to be a little bit further back. I don't know. It
Right.
depends
It
on how
won't
big
be right on the corner now because of the trees,
No, it's
I'm scared you're going to be limiting the product that goes in there.
which we already have
You
Which
feel
we
that it
already
will?
twice.
Okay.
Right. So
Mhm.
there still is a motion and a second. So further discussion?
I'll
Yep.
I'll make the amendment to change that setback from 20 feet to 30 feet.
To 30 feet?
10 more.
Okay. So there's amendment. Are you okay with the amendment?
I'm okay with the amendment.
Okay. You okay with the second?
Sure.
Okay, so we do have an amendment. So the motion now reads, P and Z recommendation of the LC restricting any driveways with a 30 feet building setback.
Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Motion does carry 5-2, Councilmember Navarrette and Hill voting nay. We will now move to item number 19. Item number 19 is conduct a public hearing regarding zoning case 18-TOD-CP-001 to adopt the Avian Ridge concept plan on one parcel of land, approximately 21.014 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District Parcel R481339, generally located to the southeast of the intersection of East San Gabriel Parkway and 183A Toll Road, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Mr. Yanis.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a public hearing on a, I'm just going to wait 1 second while the crowd dissipates.
Sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Yanis, I think you're good.
Okay. This is a public hearing on a concept plan for the Avon Ridge project. This is at the southeast corner of the intersection of San Gabriel Boulevard and 183A Toll Road. This property was recently rezoned and has a commercial component along San Gabriel Parkway and the Toll Road frontage road, and then a multifamily component at the eastern portion of the property along San Gabriel Parkway. This is the concept plan. As you know, this is the first step in the subdivision process, and so the applicant has met all of the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, and state law requires us to approve it. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. The applicant's also here. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have after the public hearing.
Does the applicant wish to make any comments? No, thank you. Great. This is a public hearing. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. Would anyone like to speak on this item? Would anyone like to speak on this item? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. We're going to move to discuss, consider on the Avon Ridge concept plan on one parcel of land approximately 21.014 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District, parcel R481339, generally located to the southeast of the intersection of East San Gabriel Parkway and 183A Toll Road, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. I will reiterate Mr. Yanis's comment. The applicant does meet all the conditions by state law. We have to pass this. So, council, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's a motion for approval by Councilmember Averzies with a second by Councilmember Shepherd. Please let me note that Pro Tem Seiler stepped off the dais. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry 6-0 with Pro Tem being absent. Does anyone need a break before we move into our regular agenda?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and take, if you guys would do 7 minutes, be back here at 9 o'clock, please. And it's 8:53. Time is 8:59. We're going to go ahead and reconvene on our regular agenda. We are on item number 20. Item number 20 is to discuss and consider an ordinance amending Chapter 1, Chapter 9, and Chapter 11 of the Code of Ordinances to provide uniformity in the composition and terms of the city's boards and commissions, providing severability, open meetings, and effective date clauses, and providing for related matters. Ms. Crabtree, Mr. Tummons, who's taking this one? Mr. Tummons?
I'm going to kick it off, that's for sure. And if I need some help on the others, I'll refer to Paige or Doris. So, thank you, Council and Mayor. This is, you first saw this back at your council retreat back in February, and some additions to some changes, clarifications to the public art ordinance, and commission members, some of the financials, and I really appreciate Mr. Powers and Mr. Seiler for their continued input over the last few weeks as we massage this. So I think we've got something really nice to bring to you tonight, and so we're seeking approval, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Great, Council.
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion made for approval by Pro Tem Seiler, second by Councilmember Navarrette. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. We'll move to item number 21.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Tummons. Discuss and consider appointments to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, Public Arts Commission, and Historical Preservation Commission. Okay, we'll take each one of these separate, Council. Let's start with the Historical Preservation Commission, since we have none. We have 2 spots that are open that we're still looking for. We don't have any applicants for that position. So let's move to our Parks and Rec Advisory Board. We have 1 position open. I believe that we have 2 applicants that have applied for that, Brian Weaver and Shay Tower. And I'll be happy to entertain a motion.
I'll motion to appoint Brian Weaver. I'll second.
It's been a motion to appoint Brian Weaver to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board by Councilmember Shepherd, second by Councilmember Navarrette. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry unanimously. So that takes care of filling our Parks and Rec. We'll move to our Public Arts Commission. There are 2 positions on the Public Arts Commission. I believe we have 4 that have applied. 1 did not come this evening for the We did not see Lydia Cortez. So we have Janice Murdoch, Beverly Dennis, and Shay Tower. I'll entertain a motion. We have 2 positions. You can do them together or you can do them separate.
I'll make a motion to approve Beverly Dennis.
I'll second.
Okay, there's been a motion made for Beverly Dennis for the Public Arts Commission by Pro Tem Seiler. I'm going to recognize Councilmember Hill with the second. Is there further discussion on that one? All in favor? Motion does carry unanimously. I need one more, please.
Oh, motion to appoint Janice Murdoch.
And the motion for Janice Murdoch by Councilmember Shepherd. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Navarrette. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. I think everyone left. Oh, you didn't. Thank you. Great. Great. So we have those items taken care of, and we will move to item number 22. Item number 22 is a presentation from Recon Services regarding request for a recycling franchise within the city limits of Leander. Council, this is just a presentation. We're not taking any action on this. Mr. Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. Recently, city staff received a request from Recon Services out of Austin, Texas, inquiring about obtaining a recycling franchise within the city limits of the city of Leander. We met with Mr. Ross Beal, who will be making the presentation tonight, to learn more about their request, and we have some standard questions that we go through prior to getting to this point. So he has a presentation, and so Mr. Beal, there he is. He's the operations manager with Recon Services. After you've had a chance to ask your questions, if the council would provide staff with direction on how you would like for us to proceed after tonight's meeting. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you all. Appreciate the time for y'all letting me come out here and give y'all a presentation on the recycling franchise agreement. Just go through some of our background, kind of what we do and who we are. Like I said, my name is Ross Beal. I'm with the operations manager here for Recon Services. We do run a fleet of 18 roll-off trucks here in Austin, excuse me, right behind the Austin Airport at 973 and Burleson Road. We do have an inventory of over 450 roll-off containers that we run over that facility. We provide 24-hour service for all of our customers throughout the Austin and surrounding area, hoping to provide that service here for the city of Leander. Just one of the important things for y'all, just we do have a weekly wash, a third party that comes in. I know it's important for y'all to have a clean city, things looking right, so we have that service through our company. We have an on-site container repair. It's an important thing for the job sites. If something gets broke, doors don't get shut, things leak, you have holes all over the place to get out on the city streets and job sites. We do employ four full-time mechanics and also have the roadside serviceability. I think something that's really important for me to discuss is that we only provide construction roll-off dumpsters, C&D. We don't do residential service, your 96-gallon carts at your house. We don't do the commercial front loads. So the only thing that we are wanting to offer for the city of Leander, and the only thing our company does, is the construction roll-off dumpsters. So just going through just some of our permits that we have here. I know y'all will have this information to go back through and look at. We have an air new source permit that covers at our facility for our grinding, our crushing operation. We have a municipal solid waste processing permit as well. That allows us to only process C&D material. We don't process any household trash, composting, or any of that type of material. And also our USDOT number there for reference. So what Recon Services offers, we do offer the 15, 20, 30, and 40-yard roll-off containers. We do provide the regular service pickups for any of the construction sites, remodels, demolition. We can pick up on a weekly pickup if they need, whatever the customer requires or asks us to do. We'll be there to do that for them. This is a very important part here for what we're trying to offer. We offer true C&D recycling services that are backed up due to Recycling Certification Institutes. So what the Recycling Certification Institute is, it's a national program that all C&D recyclers, you don't have to be part of, but you can be a part of this program. So what that verifies is that you actually are recycling. There's a lot of job sites in town that require the hauler to recycle national lead programs. And based off of that, with us being a certified recycler, it means that all of our inbound material, all of our outbound material is all tracked through this Recycling Certification Institute. Our end users are all verified that that material has actually been received by them and that they dispose of that material properly for whatever use it might be. All of our recycling services will meet all of the national lead programs. If you do have a job site here in the city of Leander that does fall under that lead program, they will actually receive an extra lead point just by using us based off us being a certified recycler. Another one of the big topics is if we are allowed to be a hauler here in town to provide the recycling services, it keeps the rates and service and all of the options to be competitive. When there is just a one hauler in town, it allows that hauler to maybe charge whatever they might like to charge. When you bring in an additional hauler, it just allows it to be competitive and keep those rates fair for all the customers here in town. So what this is here, this is a picture of our facility, just some of the items that of our picking line that we have. This is just showing the, I'm sorry, picked the wrong button, I'm sorry. Trying to look for the laser. There we go. So the materials that we do recycle at our facility, we recycle cardboard, paper, and plastics. We do metal, ferrous, and non-ferrous. We recycle all aggregates, whether it's rock, dirt, concrete, asphalt, brick, tile, whatever aggregate that might be. We recycle wood, sheetrock, and then, of course, there is non-recycle. In most containers, there is non-recyclable items that are going to be in there that we'll dispose of at the landfill. So what I'd like to show you here is our certification through the RCI. Like I'd already stated that we are certified through the, when I say RCI, Recycling Certification Institute, just gets kind of long to pronounce there. But our current annual recycling rate, 12-month, is 84.58%. So that is a true 100% number that is verified through RCI. Our last month's numbers, I'll show you on the next slide, we are at 90%. That was our last month's number. So we do have a brand new facility that we are actually adding on to our existing one from the previous picture that we are hoping to achieve the 93% recycle rates. In the C&D industry, that is a really, I know it's not 100%, but every item isn't recyclable. We're trying to keep looking for new markets for all these items, but currently last month we're getting closer to that goal. We're at 90% currently last month. So what I can show you here, this is directly off of the RCI website, which is just a public, you can go to this website, you can see all the certified facilities around the United States that are only in the C&D industry. You will see here that in 2017 in April we were at 70%. This was before we did our expansion to our old line. We have introduced some robotic picking arms that have helped us achieve that goal. It's in robotics. I will show you all video here to kind of walk you all through that process. But this is just to show our every single month what our recycling rates are So, and here we are, 90%. Every month has continued to grow. It kind of bounces around depending on the volumes that we have coming in and out. But last month we were at 90%, and only 10% of that actually going to the landfill that wasn't recycled.
What does ADC stand for?
ADC is alternative daily cover. So currently right now we can have, there'll be two different numbers depending on where you're at. So the ADC would be a landfill that can use alternative daily cover compared to them, say, digging out a cell and using their own dirt from their site to cover the material every day. So we do make it so-called ADC, but we have that material, which that is. It goes through this whole process. I have a video to show y'all here. By the time you kind of crush all this material up, screen it out, there's dirt that gets left over, the little pieces of sheetrock. We have that material approved to make berms at the current moment. And we're hoping probably by the end of this year that a landfill around the corner from us will start taking that as ADC. So if it does start to be taken as ADC, that number should increase. Yep. I put on here our awards and the recognition. We just really want to get the point across that we are a true recycler, and this is what we do. We are a local hauler, but we haul to be able to bring material back to our facility to recycle. All of our material does come back to us. We take everything out that we can. Anything else out would go to the landfill. So I just wanted to point out, we did receive the 2018 Construction and Demolition Recycling Association Recycler of the Year. That's based off all the C&D recyclers in the United States. We were recognized for that and received that reward for Recycler of the Year. And also just recently, just last month, we were awarded the TCEQ 2018 TEA winner for Innovation, Operations, and Management. So TCQ recognized us for this program here through our robotic recycling, bringing in new products, being innovative, just looking toward the future. That's really the direction that everything is going, based off going with the robotics. We are actually the only certified recycler through the RCI in the state of Texas at the current moment. We are actually the City of Austin's only qualified processor. They have a new C&D ordinance that went into effect October of 2016. That's requirement projects over 5,000 square feet. 50% of that material has to be recycled. So at the current moment, we're actually the only qualified processor that handles that material. And throughout every year, their percentages are going to increase, and by 2020, they hope to receive 100%. Which we're getting close. We're at 90, so we're trying. And then also here with the robotics, we're actually the first recycler here in the United States that have introduced the robotics into the C&D industry at the moment. So here I just have just a little video, just kind of shows you our three different companies. There's no sound, so I'm going to kind of talk through that, just show you all a little bit of our facility and what we can do for y'all. So one of the companies that I'm not quite focused on, but it is one of our sister companies here is 973 Materials. This is all on the same facility. We have 106 acres right behind the airport, so all three of these companies operate off of this site. 973 Materials is a concrete, rock, asphalt, brick, tile. We recycle upwards to 1,000 to 1,500 tons a day of concrete. We then sell that material back out as road base. It's a TxDOT approved material. City of Austin, a lot of the counties do use this material for their road base. So just some pictures there of our material and how we process that there.
How many acres is that property?
We're on 106 acres. I'll use our. So this is just our crushing facility where it goes through and the screens and goes through that process. Then we do have, of course, recon services, which is our focus here. We just wanted to show you all this video. We did build the facility by ourselves. A lot of the equipment we did bring in, but the majority of it we built ourselves. This kind of walks through some of that process and what it looks like here. Looks a little different today, but so what we have here, this is us grinding our wood products. We make a biomass fuel. That's our largest item that we do recycle. That's about 40% of our recyclable material that comes through for us. And at the current moment, we haul out close to 150 to 180 tons a day of the biomass fuel. And that product is delivered to CEMEX. They use that material to heat their kiln. They also burn whole tires, and they're actually do some shingles as well. This picture just kind of showing you the area that we have of our containers. And we've seen here, this is where our robotic systems picking arms are here. And we'll have a little short video just so y'all can see how that process works as well. So here, this is actually it in operation. You can see the material. It's a dirty, dusty. We actually reduce that material down to 3 foot minus for it to be able to go through our process and be able to handle the material better. And our stockpile, it increases, it decreases. Here's actually the line working. Here's your ADC right here. This is all the fines material that we'll be able to use at the landfills. Just a little overhead shot of this is actually our old facility. We are existing from this portion on. So you can see here, this is all of our sheetrock, metal. This is non-recycle, cardboard. Here's our rocks. And this is all the non-recycle at the front end as well. It all goes through the line up top, and then it drops down to its appropriate bin. Just some pictures of our robotic picking arms. There are 2 arms. These arms will pick 2,000 picks an hour. You can train them to pick kind of whatever material that you want it to train. You just have to train them, and they will. You can classify it, and they'll pick it for you. Just a little shot of all of our material. Out of all that material that comes through the 973, it can be brought in from job sites here. We're not just strictly just hauling construction debris. This is some of our future. This is my daughter and my nephew here. No, I'm going to pause this. So you can see this is our 2016's numbers. Some of them were pretty low. Some of them did pop up. These are still very good numbers to have. And you can see immediately whenever we started to implement our robotics, we did jump up from that 70-60%. That's when we continued to be in the 80% and increase to where we are now to the 90%. And all this data is available to anybody, recyclingcertificationinstitute.org. Y'all can constantly track that material, see what we're hauling, make sure our recycling numbers are up, that we're meeting, the standards.
Can I ask, is the drywall and gypsum not usually recycled? Sorry, is the drywall and gypsum, I noticed that's just at 0.2%. Is that not?
Yeah, the drywall and gypsum, it's just not a typical, whenever there's a, say, new construction, there's not a whole lot of scrap left over. So just based off the volume of all of our other items, it's just a very small part of the material that's in all of the dumpsters.
In the bins?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is our new facility that we are adding on to. I have some pictures at the end that y'all will be able to see the new facility there. And then just a quick little video here of the Zen Robotics, just so y'all can see how that works and what we have in operation. It was sound. So you can see they're just trained to pick whichever item that you're choosing to throw in that designated bin. It goes through a scanner. We have our robots picking up to 6 different items. And everybody does ask with the robots, you know, everyone thinks we fire people or let people go. That is the whole concept for this, that you can replace people, no overtime, no sick, and all that kind of stuff. We have not currently done that. We don't have any intentions of doing that. We have just relocated people around. And with our new facility that we've expanded onto, we're going to relocate them into a different area. Then our robots will continue to pick like they're doing. And our whole goal is to be able to run 24 hours a day at night. Nighttime will hopefully be unmanned. So this is just our new facility that we're actually under construction right now. This is pretty current here. From here, this is the existing where the building was to be this way. So we've implemented some new screening processes. What this is allowing us going to do is hopefully be able to reach the 500 to 600 tons a day, be able to process that much material per day. As you can see, we're not able to keep up with our current stockpile, so we are investing in all this new equipment, new screening, new lines, just better process to be able to get to that 500 to 600 tons a day. There's some more overhead shots here. So you can see this is where the existing was, and this is where the robots are. And everything else is going to be screened to where we actually are going to be separating 2D material from 3D. So the cardboard, plastics, paper, it'll have its own picking line. Just with all this equipment, this is what we're hoping to achieve, to be able to get to the 93%, if not more, with this system here. Yep, so that's all I have for the presentation. Just really want to come to y'all. We would love to be a hauler here in the city of Leander. We're just wanting to give everybody an option for the recycling. And we're hoping that we can do that, being certified with our numbers. They're at 90%. You know, based off of everybody that's out there, 90%. It's a really high number. So we're hoping that we can get in here and help y'all out.
Okay, Mr. Cagle, let me start with you if I could.
Sure.
Can you give us some clarification on what our current contract with Clausen, how that would be affected?
Yes, sir,
With this,
Mayor
just
and Council.
some details from a legality standpoint.
Sure. Just to clear it up, Clausen does have the exclusive contract to haul all the solid waste. That's residential and commercial. And because they have the exclusive contract, does not mean they get to charge what they want to.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Okay.
That's set by ordinance, and it was set the last time that we renewed their contract. So obviously this is a very impressive service. That's why we felt like you should see it. My suggestion would be that we work with Clausen and with Recon, and perhaps we get some help from the outside, because we don't really have any experts on solid waste, and see what we can work out. Because if you were just to approve this a franchise immediately, Clausen loses a significant amount of business, and their bid was based on having all the business, and that changes their situation dramatically. So, you know, then they're going to have some legal issues with the city. So I would suggest that you send us back to work on this. If we can work something out, this is obviously a great service for everyone, saves space in the landfill. It appears to be, you know, pretty cutting edge, very, very serious and realistic business. So, but we do have those legal realities we're going to have to deal with.
Right. I do have a question. Is the contract, is it based off of material that goes to the landfill, or is that?
They have the franchise to collect and take everything to the landfill, all solid waste.
Okay.
We have, as the council knows, we have approved one recycling contract that was 100% recycling because they just did, generally it's brush is what it is.
Right.
It's Austin Wood Recycling. So that was pretty easy. Another great service, but it did not impact.
And Clausen didn't provide that service.
Right, and Clausen did. And obviously, almost no one provides this service that you're
There-
providing, and neither does Clausen. So
There are a few in town that
Right.
do provide that service. We are one of them here.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of the other municipalities that y'all work with?
So we do all the surrounding Austin area, Cedar Park, Georgetown, Driven Springs, all the way to San Marcos. That's about as far out as we go. Bastrop, of course, and right in the city of Austin area.
You have franchise agreements with all those?
We don't have any franchise agreements besides one customer in Taylor that we recycle all of their marble countertops. Yep.
So, Mr. Cagle, what is it that they could do that Clausen does not do?
The recycling of construction waste.
But you said if we did do business with them, Clausen would lose a considerable amount.
Yeah, because right now at construction sites you'll see a Clausen container, and so the waste from those construction sites goes to the roll-off. Clausen picks it up and takes it to the landfill, and clearly in a city that's growing with as much construction as we have, that's a significant business.
And so that would be routed through recon instead of.
So essentially,
could you separate them?
Just say not. Well,
It'd be a side by side, or
that's realistically that doesn't happen on a construction site. That's the beauty of their service. It all goes in one container,
right.
and that's what all their sorting equipment is for.
Right.
You're just builders in a hurry. They're not going to be able to train their people what goes in what bin.
Right. So Clausen's not as worried about what's in the bin. It's
What goes to the landfill.
Right.
Well, not all job sites are required to recycle. There are some job sites y'all do currently have that are required to recycle. I don't currently know how those are operating, but not all job sites are required to. We're just choosing that option to recycle.
Did you say how long you guys have been in business?
I didn't.
I may have missed it.
Nope, I actually had to. That was probably the important thing. We've been in business for 14 years now.
Okay.
We are family owned. We are actually all from the Austin area. We currently live in Driven Springs, and then we operate right there at the airport.
Thank you.
Mr. Cagle, I like your recommendation
Yeah, I do.
to send it back to staff to work through the process from a legality standpoint and contractual standpoint, and see if something can be worked out after discussion. And
Okay.
bring it back at some
We'll
point.
work on it as fast as we can and see if we can get something back to you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Impressive. Thank
Very,
you.
very
Very
impressive.
much so.
Very
Thank you.
impressive.
Great, we're going to move to item number 23. 23, discuss and consider the fourth amendment to the master contract for financing, construction, and operation of BCR Regional Water Treatment and Distribution Project. Mr. Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item and the next item are related, both related to the application that is about to be submitted to the Texas Water Development Board for movement on Phase 2, partial Phase 2 of Brushy Creek Regional Water System. In 2008, when the three cities of Round Rock, Leander, and Cedar Park joined and created the Brushy Creek Regional Utility Authority, this master agreement laid out all the parameters on how the project would be constructed and financed. In that original agreement, there's an exhibit. It is known as Exhibit D because it came after Exhibit C, and it laid out the project that up through Phase 1. So for us to move forward with any of the elements contemplated in Phase 1D and 2, we have to amend this exhibit so that it gives the authority among the three cities to participate. So a new exhibit, D-1, has been created, and it is limited, and it is limited only to what is contemplated in the next phase of the project, which is the engineering and design of the deep water intake, but not the construction, as well as acquiring some easements and land rights for those future facilities, and as well as some electrical work that will also need to be done. But this is an agreement that needs to be amended so that we can move forward with the next item.
Is this where we want to talk about ownership percentage, or do you want to do it on the next item?
We can do it here.
Well, so I know that Councilmember Aberzies and Councilmember Navarrette understand, and I understand it from being on the board before, but I think it's important to stress that what happens when we go into a new exhibit, the Exhibit D, that our ownership position actually changes. It changes based on usage, which has always been. In Phase 1, we had a higher percentage of use that we required. Cedar Park had the smallest consideration at that time. Now their usage and capacity is different, and so is Round Rock's. So our percentage actually drops from 47% based on our usage down to about 42%, correct? And the other two go up to almost equal amounts. Are they? Let's see.
You're getting a no.
No, not quite. They go to.
This, as Mr. Powers stated, our ownership in the water treatment plant stays the same.
Stays the same, correct.
This is for the deep water intake structure, because the deep water intake will provide raw water to more than just the BCRUA plant. It will provide raw water to Cedar Park's water treatment plant, and it will provide raw water to the City of Leander's water treatment plant. So if you'll notice on this exhibit, the deep water.
That's what we're looking for. What page?
You're on it right there. Right
This is
there.
it? Okay.
Yes, sir. It's in there twice.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
That's what we're looking for. Yeah.
So the total capacity in million gallons per day of the deep water intake, that's bringing raw water out of the deep channel of the lake to 3 different water treatment plants, is 144.7 million gallons a day. And so of this, Cedar Park would have 41.9 million gallons a day. Leander would have 62 million gallons a day, and Round Rock 40.8 million gallons. So this is, while it is part of the BCRUA, it's only one part of it. It doesn't change our ownership in the water treatment plant. But if you wanted to have some sort of blended for the entire project, including the water treatment plant, the transmission lines, the deep water intake, it would be something blended of our 42.85% of the deep water intake structure and the
47.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you an additional question? If per se that, how do I phrase the phrases? Let's say that we're still not prepared to move forward with the cost of that Phase 2, and one of the other cities steps up and says that they want it to go forward, so they will take on more of the financial responsibility. Would that affect? That would only affect the part of the BCRUA. It wouldn't affect anything to do with the deep water intake, or would it? I'm trying to understand, because if we've already committed, or we're planning to commit to construct the deep water intake, and you're saying the cost of that is based off of these percentages, or is that
correct.
different? Okay,
That's what these percentages are.
Right.
The deep water intake.
Right. So therefore, when we decide to move forward and construct the deep water intake, our cost will be based off of the 42, 28, 28, or 29, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Because the
BCRUA
has already been built.
Correct. Yes.
There's some expansion to it, and that any expansion to it is at our 47%. Right. Is a proportion to us at 47%. Okay. Just want to make sure that's clear on that.
The BCRUA at its maximum now could produce, when it's expanded, produce 105 million gallons a day.
Right.
But this deep water, in treat water of 105 million gallons a day. The deep water intake takes raw water out of the lake at an amount up to 144.7 million gallons a day.
Right.
Because it serves 2 other treatment plants.
Right.
So you're asking if another city wanted to put more?
No, I'm just saying that we have an understanding amongst ourselves, I think, as to what we would take for us to want to go forward with the construction, because it could affect the water rates with the current Leander residents. So the question then becomes if there's an issue around whether or not we're ready to go forward, but we're not as ready to go forward as they are. They want to speed things up. I don't know how that would all come about, because there's been a lot of talk out there because,
Can they force it?
I don't know. I don't know if any of that stuff can be forced. I'm just saying people are talking about it. I don't think it will ever happen, to be honest.
The other thing that we keep hearing through this election cycle is renegotiation of these contracts.
Right, exactly.
It's a permanent contract with debt issued.
Right.
And the percentage changes based on usage. So it's actually a very fair contract. It's just based on usage.
Right.
And who has the capacity.
Right.
So we need the capacity for this. The other cities are now increase their percentage in phase two. Ours has come down a little bit in phase two. And when we go to whatever else in the next debt issue, it will change again. So,
And
exactly.
The only possible change would be we would sell them some of our water capacity. Correct. It wouldn't change anything other than that. So there's a possibility if we end up with more water than we needed because of we're being so water efficient.
And is that rate pre-negotiated, or would that be determined?
No, that would have to be
a side.
It would be a side contract on it, sure.
Yeah,
just like we have contracts with
Liberty Hill
and Jonestown. It's the same.
I just think it's a good thing to discuss, because I know, as you said, most people don't know it.
Right. Yes.
That's why I wanted to bring it up on one of these two items. Do you have a motion?
I have a motion to approve.
A second.
Motion made for approval by Councilmember Abraziz, second by Councilmember Navarrette on item 23. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. Item number 24, discuss and consider, sorry, I can't read it. Gotta get my glasses on. Discuss and consider a resolution by the City Council of the City of Leander requesting financial assistance from the Texas Water Development Board, authorizing the filing of an application for assistance and making certain findings in connection therewith. Mr. Powers.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Throughout this application process with the Water Development Board, the preliminary application, which was submitted by the BCRUA several months ago, was approved for final consideration. The intent deadline to file that application is May 4th. So the three cities need to give the final okay to submit the full application for the design of the phase two. The City of Leander's portion of the Water Development Board application is $8,770,000. The City of Round Rock is going to use cash, not debt, finance their portion, and the City of Cedar Park is also participating in the loan application. The loan option that you have instructed us to pursue is the planning and design deferred loan application, which means that the repayment of the debt to the Water Development Board would not commence until construction started, or 8 years, whichever comes first. So without any interest accrual. So it was very favorable terms. We recommend
So just to be clear, it's the cost of planning, design, and land rights only.
For the Water Development Board application, yes.
Yes.
Does it lock in the rates at today's rates, even if you don't act on it for 8 years?
Yes, because the rates will be set at the time that the Water Development Board issues their debt, which, if you recall, when we did the Phase 1 expansion last year, it took the board approved the final application in July, and we finally closed in October or November. So I would suspect that in October or November of 2018, that's when the rates would be locked in. But yes, those rates are locked in for the life of the repayment. So,
great.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion made for approval by Councilmember Abraziz, second by Councilmember Stevenson. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry.
Did you want that 2-hour budget presentation?
I do. I'll take that now, Mr. Powers. Thank you. Item number 25, you never miss an opportunity to give a budget presentation, I know. Item number 25, discuss and consider the second reading of an ordinance regarding special use case 18-SU-002 to allow for the addition of 7 mobile trailers, including Airstreams or similar style trailers that can be used for retail, restaurants, or personal services, as well permit alternative signage on 2 parcels of land approximately .50 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcels R036040 and R036039, located 201 and 203 West Broad Street, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Mr. Yanis?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the second reading of this special use case. As y'all will recall, at the last meeting, the council asked us to modify the language regarding the style of trailer. We did that so that it now reads mobile trailers, including Airstream or similar style trailers. Also, in the intervening week between the last council meeting, the applicant has requested to add the ability to conduct farmers markets on the site to the special use permit, and so staff is recommending approval of the special use permit with the modified language on the trailer style, as well as adding the farmers market use.
Great,
and
Council.
Ms. Maxwell is here and has been sitting patiently on the front row the entire meeting.
She's got to be tired of seeing us.
Do you, Ms. Maxwell, do you wish to say anything at this time? Or?
I'm here for questions.
Okay.
I will
Counsel?
motion to approve.
Second.
Been a motion made for approval by Councilmember Navarrette with a second by Pro Tem Seiler. Is there further discussion? I think we met the intent of what we were trying to get to, so thank you very much.
Yes.
All in favor?
Farmers markets.
Motion does carry.
Congrats.
Go. You're going to have one on Saturday, right? Okay, item number 26. It's getting late and we're only halfway through, so let me keep moving. Item number 26, discuss and consider the first reading of an ordinance for voluntary annexing land or portions thereof, including 7.417 acres of land shown on the attached location map, legally described as Lot 40 of the Hidden Mesa Subdivision, a subdivision located in Travis and Williamson Counties, Texas, for which annexation proceedings were commenced by resolution number 18-002-00, adopting a municipal service plan and providing for related matters. Mr. Yanis?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the first reading of the annexation ordinance for Lot 40, the Hidden Mesa subdivision that you heard the zoning case on earlier tonight. We did the 2 public hearings on March the 15th and March the 29th, and we will do the second and final reading on May the 3rd. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great. Counsel?
Motion. Second.
Motion made for approval by Councilmember Shepherd, second by Councilmember Abraziz. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry unanimously. Item number 27, discuss and consider a first reading of an ordinance on the annexation of multiple tracts of land totaling 508.47 acres more or less, generally located to the south of Journey Parkway, to the north of RM 2243, west of Ronald W. Reagan Boulevard, south of Hero Way, and to the southeast of the intersection of RM 2243 and 183A Toll Road in Williamson County, Texas, pursuant to the terms and expiration of development agreements under Section 43.035 Texas Local Government Code, for which annexation proceedings were commenced by resolution number 18-003-00, adopting a municipal service plan and provided for related matters. Mr. Yanis?
Thank you, Mayor. This is also the first reading of the annexation ordinance for the voluntary annexations of annexation development agreements that expired this year, and we also held the public hearings for these on March the 15th and March the 29th, and we will conduct the second and final reading on May the 3rd.
Great. Counsel?
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion made for approval by Councilmember Shepherd, second by Councilmember Abraziz. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. Item number 28, discuss and consider an extension of subdivision case 16-SFP-006 for the approval of the South San Gabriel Ranches Lot 5 short form final plat on one parcel of land approximately 5.1927 acres more or less in size, more particularly described by Williamson Central Appraisal District parcel R037777, generally located at the southeast corner of Norwood Drive and CR 270, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Mr. Yanis?
Thank you, Mayor. The subdivision ordinance has expiration dates for the recording of final plats after their approval. In this case, the applicant has taken some additional time related to, I think, a real estate transaction on this property, and it has already received one extension, is requesting one additional extension to the expiration of the final plat. Essentially what this does is it allows the final plat to continue without having to have the applicant go back and reapply and repay all the fees. So we're recommending approval of one additional extension.
Council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's been a motion made for approval. Councilmember Shepherd, second by Councilmember Stevenson. Great. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. On the last page. Item number 29, discuss and consider second amendment to the development agreement of Crystal Springs subdivision. And number 2, discuss and consider second amendment to the Crystal Springs Public Improvement District, the PID financing agreement. Ms. Sines?
These items are under one agenda item, so you can take action on both at the same time, because if you approve one, you should approve both. This is in relation in preparing for the bond issuance for the PID bonds for the Crystal Springs subdivision that you'll be considering on May 3rd. These documents are, the revisions here are some cleanup in preparation for that bond issuance. When we drafted the agreements about a year ago, we were planning for completion of certain phases of the project as we got closer to the stage of the project, which was bond issuance, and we need to make some adjustments based on where the parkland right-of-way stage is in completion. What this document does is the PID finance agreement had required that the parkland right-of-way be completed prior to the bonds being authorized for issuance. The parkland right-of-way will be completed at the end of June is what is anticipated. So that would not be a condition of you issuing the bonds. Instead, what we've restructured the agreement so that what's important to the city, if you recall, is the dedication of a large acreage of parkland of over 50 acres in relation to this project. So the amendments to the documents require the parkland to be dedicated prior to the bond issue, or to be put into escrow before the bonds are authorized, and the protection for the city in ensuring that the parkland right-of-way is completed is that either the bond funds will not be released or a letter of credit will be provided by the developer to guarantee the completion of that parkland right-of-way in order to get the bond funds released.
Great. Council?
Motion to approve.
A second.
There's been a motion for approval by Pro Tem Seiler, second by Councilmember Navarrette. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Great. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry. Item number 30. Number 1, discuss and consider resolution ratifying the publication of notice of public hearing on intent to issue special assessment revenue bonds, Crystal Springs Public Improvement District project. Number 2, discuss and consider a resolution directing the filing of a proposed assessment roll for the Crystal Springs Public Improvement District PID with the city secretary, ratifying the publication of notice of public hearing to consider an ordinance levying assessment on property located within the Crystal Springs Public Improvement District, and directing staff to mail notice and said public hearing. And number 3, discuss and consider a resolution approving the form and authorizing distribution of preliminary limited offering memorandum, the PLOM, for special assessment revenue bond series 2018, Crystal Springs Public Improvement District. Ms. Sines?
These items are also eligible to be approved, all 3 with one vote. The first item, the resolution that deals with the PID bond notice, this item sets the public hearing on the PID bond notice for May 3rd, ratifies the notice that was published in the paper today. The second item authorizes the City Council to hold a public hearing on the proposed assessments on the land that will pay for the debt service on the bonds. It authorizes the filing of an assessment roll, which sets out what those assessments will be, and it ratifies the notice that's been given of that public hearing. That public hearing notice was published today. The public hearing will be held on May 3rd. I want you to note that there was a modification to the assessment roll, which is attached to the resolution. There was a typo in a couple of the parcel ID numbers, so that updated assessment roll is in front of you, and it's also in the City Secretary's office. The third item, this item authorizes the form of the preliminary limited offering memorandum related to the proposed bond issuance. This is the document that describes the project and provides background and due diligence information for the investors to review, and the underwriters use that information to shop the bonds. And we do have representatives from the underwriter for this project present if you have any questions for them about the plum. There have been several revisions to the plum as we've worked up to this meeting, and you've been updated with those electronically since it's such a massive document.
Great. Council? Need a motion, please?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's been a motion made for approval by Councilmember Shepherd with a second by Councilmember Navarrette. Is there further discussion? All in favor? The motion does carry unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Sines. We're going to move to item number 31. This is an item that's very near and dear to my heart. We've been talking about it for a very long time. It's discuss and consider award of the Leander Community Recreation Center Operation Management and Recreation Programming Partnership to the Greater Williamson County YMCA per solicitations number S18-004. Mr. Tummons, are you speaking on this?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Once again, good to see you this evening. Yeah, it seems like every month I'm up here and we're talking about new projects and new parks and moving forward. It's an exciting time for us and for y'all too, because you were here at the very beginning when you were part of the bond issues, and so we keep moving forward every month. So it's nice to bring you some of these projects, whether it be synthetic turf projects or it's a greenway trail projects. Last month, the senior center project, and now this month we're moving into that realm of our community recreation center. Still a couple of years or more away from actual construction, but we're getting really close. So part of that is still working through how we expect some of that to be operated. And a few months ago, we made a conscious decision to maybe step back a little bit and look at what our partnership would look like and who that might be with. And we wanted to make sure we vetted every avenue that might be available to us. So we did a lot of research, and particularly I did, in looking at a lot of different companies. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of companies out there who primarily their focus is either corporate fitness, it could be local fitness like your Gold's Gym, your Planet Fitness, your 24-hour fitnesses, those type of things. But there's very few that do comprehensive recreation programming, planning, and operations. Of course, I know we had a lot of the discussion early on with the YMCA of Greater Williamson County. They helped produce a guide, so to speak, and how that would look a couple of years ago or more. So that was sort of the direction that we were looking at. But by going out with a RFP, we were able to actually solicit and see what those responses. We received 2 responses, which is, there were some that said we might receive more than 2, but I really only expected probably to see 1. There's just not that many out there. I really thought maybe an LA Fitness might take a stab at it, somebody like that, or a Boys and Girls Club. They're still not within that realm of community recreation. We're talking about comprehensive, full realm of recreation activities for the entire family. But we did have 2 health fitness, a Trustmark company submitted an RFP as well as the the Greater Williamson County YMCA. And with those 2, we actually went through all their proposal, and then we interviewed both companies, both organizations. And Health Fitness, as you probably have seen, they're out of Minnesota. So we know that a lot of the times when you go out for RFPs like this, or picked up a lot of search engines, a lot of different companies, a lot of people who are looking for this type of thing. So we know it made its way around the country in some form or fashion. So, but like I said, in my own research, there's just not a whole lot of companies that would come in at this point and do this type of work for communities and cities. So with that, we came to a very good conclusion that working with the YMCA of Greater Williamson County was our best choice at this point. So we're moving forward with that area with your approval. We expect to have a contract ready for your review on May 3rd. And so at this point, I'll basically entertain any questions. Jeff Andreessen, the CEO of Greater Williamson County, is here with us. Jeff, you're welcome to come up, and he can share any additional questions or answers that you might have for your questions too.
Mr. Thomas, I think one of the underlying questions I know is going to come up, at least from the general public, and we want an update on that as well as how are negotiations going on the land with ACC? Do you have an update on that?
We do, yes, sir. We met with ACC last week.
I know you did. That's why I asked.
Of course you did, and that's great because we're live. So they are. We met with ACC last week, and I think those negotiations are going very well. We're moving into that phase of actually pulling together that contract or lease agreement for that contract, and so we're moving forward with that at the same time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know we've been waiting a long time for that.
A very long time. I think I've had the pleasure of working with Mr. Andreessen since, I believe, 2005 we first spoke and toured facilities back then. And it takes a while to get things accomplished sometimes, and I'm so very excited we're at this point, Mr. Timmons.
You know, Dave Loderman had his top 10 list. I put together my top 10 list of why we should partner with the YMCA. I don't have to read all of them, but I will give you a few of them. I actually have them all right here. I actually have 11, because number 11 is really providing comprehensive recreation and fitness for the entire family. But, you know, there's a lot of things that the Y brings to the table, and I think probably if you went through the bid summary, you saw that. But one of the important things is the day we open, they're bringing, or a little bit beforehand, but by the day that we open, they're bringing in approximately $1.2 million of just furniture, fixtures, and equipment. That's unheard of most anywhere else. We couldn't get that from any other for-profit type of organization. So to me, but also looking at, they're going to take care of 100% of the daily maintenance, repair, replacement of all the movable equipment. You know, they're going to establish all the preventive maintenance contracts. They're going to take care of 100% of all the fixed surfaces, like if floors need to be cleaned or redone, paint, countertops. They're going to be doing all of that. They're going to take care of 100% of all the outside mowing, landscaping, irrigation, and trash. I mean, there's a lot of positives here, and I hope you all read through all that and can see. And I just think we're going to have a really good partnership for quite some time.
So, Mr. Timmons, essentially what this contract would be is that it would, in general, when we build a center, that the YMCA would operate it. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and move for approval.
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Navarrete. I apologize, I didn't ask if Mr. Andreessen had anything to say before we went to motion.
It's a long night.
Mr. Andreessen, we have a motion and a second. Are you sure you want to talk?
Mayor and Council, thank you very much. It's been a long road from 2005, and I appreciate all your support. It'll be a good thing.
Great. We do have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Mr. Abizes?
My biggest concern, and has always been when this was presented to us, is the subsidy for the first 5 years. I see that it hasn't changed at all from what the YMCA requested, and I don't see a whole lot of discussion around or elaboration on what that entails. So I want it to be clear what that means, what the membership target is, and all that.
Well, that's actually in the contract.
But the contract is not in front of me. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly, and you're not approving the contract.
I know, I understand that, but okay, then I will wait until we do.
Yeah, I just want, so everyone understands tonight, if you
Okay.
approve this, you're telling us to go negotiate a contract.
Okay.
If we bring a contract back that the council
misunderstood.
doesn't like, then you can say, okay, go get another bidder.
Okay.
Either renegotiate it, go get another operator, do something different.
Okay, I was just under the wrong impression.
So next meeting, we'll have the contract.
The actual contract.
Yes, yes, sir.
May 3rd.
Thank you.
Okay. We do have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for waiting, Mr. Andreessen.
Thank you, everyone.
You
Appreciate
bet.
it.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to make sure.
I know. No, you're good.
Because I'm tired.
I wasn't going to let you miss that one. Item number 32, discuss and consider task order KFA 37 with K. Friesen Associates Incorporated for professional services for Crystal Falls ground storage tank for a total authorization amount of $445, and authorizing the city manager to execute any and all necessary documents. Mr. Watts, thank you for rounding that off to a regular number, or Mr. Dale, whichever one that did that.
Well, part of the contract is a time and material, so it could be some fractional dollars in
I
that
got
at
you.
some point,
All right.
but not at the contract stage. Basically, what we're doing is we're going to add another 1 million gallon ground storage tank at what we term the Crystal Falls tank site. Actually, it's off of Wigwam. At the time that tank site was initiated, the only thing out there was Crystal Falls. Lakeline wasn't even there. We are replacing an existing ground storage tank, County Glen ground storage tank, which, both of the existing, there's a 1 million gallon ground storage tank on site now, which is the delivery tank from the Sandy Creek water treatment plant. Both of those, the County Glen tank, that's going to be demolished when it is replaced by the proposed tank that's part of this contract, or this design contract. Both of those tanks provide elevated storage for a lower pressure plane. Of course, the delivery tank will continue to be the existing ground storage tank. I suspect we will have piping arrangements to alternate delivery so that we can take the existing 1 million gallon tank down for maintenance, repair, and recoating at some time in the future. Also involved in this contract is the design and provision of additional generator capacity so that we can run all of the pumps at the pump station. Staff request authorization of the city manager to negotiate and execute this task order.
Great. Council?
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Been a motion made by Councilmember Navarrete, second by Councilmember Shepherd. Is there further discussion?
One question.
Yep.
Where is the County Glen tank at?
It is on what we euphemistically refer to as the LCRA road. It's an unpaved road that is between, between Crystal Falls and Timberline West subdivisions. It's about midway between Baghdad and Lakeline.
Okay.
It's not very visible.
Great. There is a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All in favor? And motion does carry. Make sure we vet Mr. Murphy. Everything's good out there before we move forward with that. Item number 33, discuss and consider change order number 5 to Bar W Ranch West Phase 1 Lift Station LS 25 and wastewater improvements in the amount of $281,132, and there's that 32 cents for extension and connection of 1,480 linear feet of 10-inch and 18-inch force main to the Liberty Hill wastewater treatment plant, authorizing the city manager to execute any and all necessary documents. Mr. Watts?
I will just point out these are 2 runs of force main laid in the same trench, each the 10-inch and the 18-inch, totaling 1,480 feet each. What this does is this completes the force main connection from the Bar W main lift station to the Liberty Hill treatment plant. Some time ago, probably 2.5 years ago now, in the design and review process for the force main for that plant, Liberty Hill was in the process, or beginning the process, to expand their treatment plant, which, of course, this expansion plant expansion is necessary to serve us and many other areas north of the river. At that time, Liberty Hill was going to, as is commonly done in plant work, install that force main as part of their construction project. Well, in December, I started asking them, hey, where's a force main? What do we need to do? In March, we got a proposal from them, from their contractor for that treatment plant, Pepper Lawson. I think some of you know who Pepper Lawson is.
Nope.
And that amount, we thought that was a little bit high at $320,631 for that. We talked to the city manager of Liberty Hill. He gave us permission that if we got a lower price that we could perform that work ourselves. We're performing this by change order with CRU. We received a proposal from CRU for $281,132.30, which saved us almost $40,000. Staff requests authorization of city manager to negotiate and execute this change order.
Mr. Everson?
let me point out one other thing.
Okay.
Our share of this $281,132.30 is 54.22%, which means it'll, out of our pocket, it's $152,429.93.
Motion to approve.
A second.
So there's a motion made for approval by Councilmember Abraziz, second by
93.
Councilmember Shepherd.
No, Stevenson.
Councilmember Stevenson, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had three people hollering together down there. Councilmember Stevenson, is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry.
And thank you for saving the money.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Watts. Those are the kind of things we like to see. Item number 34, discuss and consider award of contract to Alpha Paving Industries, LLC, for the 2018 street rehabilitation project in an amount of $1,404,377.25 and authorizing the city manager to execute any and all necessary documents. Mr. Womack?
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Back on March 27th, we received and opened 4 bids for this project, for the 2018 street rehab project. Out of the 4 bidders, Alpha Paving Industries was the low bidder. This is the 3rd or 4th year they've been the low bidder. There were 2 parts to the bid. There was a base bid, and then there was an alternate bid, or actually 3 alternate bids. And based on our budget, we're able to do the base bid plus one of the alternates. And if you look up here on the map, you can see the project, what we're proposing or recommending for approval. Baghdad Road from where we stopped last year, just north of Crystal Falls, all the way up to just short of Heroy West. This northern, call it half of Horizon Park, County Road 177 over here to the east from Reagan to, you remember that street name right there, that first side street there. And then the alternates we had, one of those was this leg here, and then Horizon Park and a piece of Osage. But based on our available funds, we are requesting to do the base bid, Baghdad and County Road 177, plus one of the alternates, Horizon Park from 2243 to Hazelwood. I would like to mention that the other 3 bidders, Austin Materials, Old Castle, and Angel Brothers, we all had fairly competitive bids, but again, Alpha has consistently been the low bidder, and we request, happy to answer any questions, but staff requests authorization of the city manager to negotiate and execute award of the contract to Alpha Paving for the 2018 street rehab project in the amount of $1,404,377.25 and to authorize the city manager to execute any and all necessary documents.
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's been a motion made for approval by Pro Tem Seiler, second by Councilmember Stevenson. Do you want to mention this as part of our rehabilitation program? Yep.
Sure. If you'll remember, we had a comprehensive analysis done of all of our streets, and we received a grade, and that grade changes every year based on the streets getting older and deteriorating and the improvements that we make. And just a few years ago, we had a 0 budget for this. Now we're awarding a $1.4 million contract, and if you'll recall, in the study that we had done, over time, we're going to try to get that budget up to $2.5 million. And that keeps our street rating not exactly where it was 4 years ago, but keeps it from degrading too much. It keeps the streets in an acceptable manner. I think it's important to remember that just a few years ago, this was 0. We were doing none of this work to our streets. And you can look at the work that we have done, and if that hadn't been done, there'd be some serious problems there now.
I did forget to mention, I did have this slide, but it shows, you can see in blue what we're going to do with approval this year, but you can kind of get an idea of what we have proposed, what we've done in the past previously, and then tentatively proposed pending budget funds available.
I love this slide. I think if Mr. New could put this on our website where it's easy to find and easy to read, it'd really be
yes,
that's a
would be
great showpiece right there.
Yeah, I've had questions from several neighborhoods about when their roads were going to get worked on. So
thank you. To go from nothing to actually have this planned budget, and plan for repairs, that's huge.
We do have a motion and a second.
I have two.
I have a question.
Let me,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me recognize Mr. Iverson.
I had 2 questions. I'm sorry, Mr. Hill. First of all, Are we going to have an interim evaluation of the roads between now? I know that we haven't proposed based on what their status is now. Will we recheck in a couple of years to make sure that they're still the high priority ones?
Yes, in 2015, we did the HVJ, our consultant did it.
Right.
Probably in 2020, every 5 years is appropriate, and we can make an assessment at that point.
The other question I had was, did we have any complaints about the work done from Alpha the last time when they did it? Do you remember? And that's something I'm just asking because we have recent.
I don't recall any,
Okay.
but it goes so fast.
I know.
But Alpha, from what I've seen, their job sites are some of the cleanest around.
Right. It would just be great to maybe keep an eye on that. I don't know that it's an issue or not, but I'm just concerned that we keep using the same company, make sure we stay on top of them. That's all.
Yes, sir. They've got some good competition, but
okay.
Mr. Hill?
Is that the reason they had to fill out the conflict?
Would you put your mic, I'm sorry, thank you.
Is that the reason they had to fill out the conflict of interest form?
Well, they all do.
Because we were already doing business with them?
No.
Because there's a couple of reasons down here it says that they would fill it out.
Anyone that bids or wins a bid potentially is required to make that statement or complete that statement.
Okay. Thanks.
Great. We do have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Motion does carry unanimously. We'll move to item number 35. Mr. Womack will receive the water use and supply update for the month of March 2018.
This is, if you look back, you'll see that about a year ago, the combined storage in both lakes was at 98% full. Since then, over the year, the storage has decreased to 85% for both lakes, Travis and Buchanan. And as of today, it's down a little bit more to 84%. If you look at this chart, you'll see that this is a six-month projection. The yellow line is April 1st, the date they did this, performed the study. But if you look to the left of that yellow line, you'll see the historical combined storage. Both lakes, Buchanan and Travis, are considered full at 2.01. They're actually managed at a little bit less than that, the green line. But looking forward into the future from April 1st, you see the three projections. One's for wet conditions, the top line, and then an average or median conditions, and then dry conditions below. Compared to the previous projection, these are depressed. They're a little bit less combined storage. So what the future holds, somewhere probably between this line and that line. But again, they look at 1,000 different or thousands of different variables to come up with that. So, if you March 1st, they did have. I don't know if they've made any releases, but the downstream water users could have released 202,000 acre feet if they had so requested. And these are the Leander numbers. If you look at the columns towards the middle with the red and blue numbers, blue is March 2018, and then to the right, March of 2017. But our peak for the previous March was 7.48 million gallons on the I believe that's the 24th, and that was a Saturday. Usually our peaks are usually midweek, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Previous March, 5.91 million gallons was the peak day. If you look for the total for both this March and the previous one, 172 versus 144 million gallons. So we used just over 28 million gallons this March compared to the previous one. A little bit further down, 16,710 total connections compared to 15,271 for the previous March, a difference of more than an increase of 1,439. And for now, that peak day, it is a new peak day, that 7.48, but that won't last long as we go into the warmer months and into the summer. And then the next slide. I guess we can call this one Exhibit D or Z since it's the last one, hopefully. But you'll see the peak months March of 17 and 18. the graph below, the dark blue is Sandy Creek, and the lighter blue here is BCRUA, and then the solid lines are the monthly, or excuse me, the solid lines are the rolling averages. You take the average of the previous 12 months to gather a projection of where those are trending, and then you see as we go into the summer months, our averages and our monthly water use will both increase as we go into the summer. I'll be happy to answer any questions on any of these slides.
Council?
The only concerning thing for me is it seems to me that it's broadening into two peaks. The last 2 years, you can see that. You got a peak in July and another one in September. It's getting more pronounced as we go along, which means we're using more water over a broader amount of time.
More people. So.
Yeah.
Well, just along those lines, we're on the verge of a drought again.
Yeah, we are.
Just so that the council knows, we have a two-man team from the fire department in West Texas now because there are wildfires in many locations.
Yeah.
And we are currently under a burn ban again.
Right.
Yes.
Countywide.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Womack.
Thank you, Mr. Womack.
Okay, we'll move to item number 36, council member closing statements. Ms. Navarrette.
Oh my goodness, is anyone still awake? It was a long night tonight. A lot of good deliberation. I think everybody's heart and soul, we're always in it for the betterment of the city as a whole. And I see some candidates out there. So I hope on the 28th, on that weekend, you can just kind of take a little break and get your families and go out and enjoy Leander for exactly what it is. And go to Mason Days. Check it out. The Parks Department, Street, everybody's done a really good job putting that event together. So take a break, go enjoy it. Have a good weekend.
Great. Ms. Stevenson?
Oh, I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Shepherd?
I just want to share my excitement for all of the progress we've made on our bond projects. It's super exciting to see the YMCA be on the agenda again and to see us moving forward with so many good projects. So, yay, team.
Mr. Hill?
No comments. Good night.
Pro Tem?
I'm good tonight.
Mr. Aberzies?
I'm just fascinated by the great job, the renovation of this building. It's great to move around. I'm appreciating it more every time I come in. It's great job. Thanks.
Great. I just want to thank staff for hanging with us. I know it's been a long night. Thanks to everyone. It's 10:19. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So be it.
We're adjourned.